Welcome to a new era of wrestling podcasts, where the hot takes, fantasy booking, nostalgic trips, and everything that happens in your day-to-day life always comes back to the squared circle. It's the Everything is Pro Wrestling podcast with Mike DeSilva, Josh Flanagan, and Nick Flanagan.
And we are back. Tightest camera shots of all time. Every week is something different, and it's been a couple weeks, so that means it's very different up in here.
Just my head getting bigger because Eagles won Super Bowl.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I have to be careful where I lean. We're going to be in each other's camera shots. It's going to be like the multiverse all over again.
Yeah.
But that's what we do here. This is episode 38.
38.
Couple weeks out. We had time gets away from us all as we are very busy men.
Life is lifing.
Life is lifing. Yeah. But we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. You know, though, I think I'd have to double check, but I actually think this week is our 1 year of doing this.
Is it already this?
I think so, because I think I remember our first episode was
6 weeks before Mania, right?
Well, I remember our first episode last year was post Elimination Chamber leading into Revolution, and we just had Elimination
leading
Chamber
into
this
Revolution.
Sunday's Revolution.
Holy shit!
Damn, a year.
So fuck 38.
Yeah, fuck
I know.
38.
Did
Yeah.
that asshole Kurt Schilling win 38?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He
fuck
did.
38.
38 studios.
We're not celebrating 38.
No.
We're celebrating the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
It sucks because that Game 6 means so much to me, but now it's so tainted, especially as a Rhode Islander.
What a
also 'cause
cocksucker.
Yeah, he's a
dick.
fucker.
Yeah.
The whole Tim Wakefield thing.
I know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
oh yeah,
shitty.
yeah. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
He's definitely an asshole.
And that couldn't. I mean, he had said it, spoke out of turn about him and his wife, and then literally within weeks, days,
Yeah.
they passed. Like, ugh,
Yeah.
fuck that guy forever.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
On the right side of history, Nick. Shout out to
That's
us.
damn right. Who would have thought?
The evil empire on
Right.
the right side of history.
Well, you guys
and we
are
got
all-
facial hair back, and we can play for the Yankees
Fuck,
now.
I can play
Me
for the
and
Yankees.
you.
We can. Yours might be a bit too long.
Yours is not.
Well, yours sticks out a bit more. Than
Ah,
I probably would.
yours is
Honestly,
fuller.
mine's
Yours
like
is definitely
on,
fuller than
mine's
mine.
like on the limit.
I don't know, man. We're in play though.
We are.
We
exactly.
are in play.
We just have to trim it a
Shout out to
smidge.
Hal Steinbrenner,
Right?
man.
Yeah, congrats, guys. Welcome
Yeah,
to
sorry, welcome to 2020.
Yeah, the fuck.
Welcome to
2000?
1997.
Yankees fans can't celebrate winning anymore. They celebrate
listen, it
being
worked
able to
27
grow
times,
facial
so-
hair.
I'm sorry. Which of our teams was in the World
World
Series last year?
Series is
Okay, when was the last time you won it?
Won in ALCS?
Okay, how many World Series have you won in the last
I'm just
25
saying, you
years?
can't say they can't celebrate winning when they
No.
won.
Which of us has
In
the
it.
worst third baseman in the league who insists on playing third base?
Right.
I don't care. I'll still take his pop. Better than your third baseman.
I guess.
Well, regardless,
maybe.
I
I mean,
know.
we're
Maybe.
Pretty sure Jazz is going to
Yeah, I
be
was
playing
gonna say. I
third
think
this
Jazz
year.
is gonna be
Yankees
there, so.
fans have fallen a long way when they start
We're
bragging
talking about facial hair. Yeah.
facial hair and ALCS.
But we were in the
No, it's
Super
just the
Bowl,
fact
so-
that I can now play for the team.
Yeah.
This
That's
was the only thing holding me back. It wasn't my lack
Rookie
of
of the
ability.
Year is one of my favorite movies ever, and I might not be as young as Henry Rowan Gardner was,
Right.
but I still want to play
Exactly.
for an MLB team.
Right?
All right,
I will
yeah.
fall on my shoulder. This shoulder is basically where Henry's was when he fell. So
Don't give up on the dream, I guess.
That's my
I
thing,
guess,
right?
yeah.
I can do it now.
yeah,
Yeah.
That was the only thing holding me back before was my beard. That was it. Not my
That's true.
not
That's the
my
only
lack of
thing.
ability or anything.
No, I mean,
it was
you
clearly
have-
just the build.
So the other
you had the
29
Babe's
teams,
physique. So
right, exactly.
yeah, the other 29 teams are just like,
They were just like, we're gonna let the Yankees have this.
Yeah,
guy.
no,
we're gonna
he-
be good people.
he already told us he's only signing with the
Exactly.
Yankees. So with that beard, we know we know we're safe. 'Cause
Right.
He'll never be in the league.
Now they're fucked.
Yeah.
Good times, man. We're ready
of
to
all
win
the
it all
things
now.
that have
Right.
happened to start the show with Yankees getting beards,
only right.
is I guess it would only make sense for this show.
we couldn't bury the lead, Mike.
No,
Come on.
could not.
That's right.
Yeah, it's sure.
Yeah,
sure-
1 year, cool. Yankees can now wear beards.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Fuck that other guy that had
yeah.
had a turn for the first time in 2.5 decades.
Yeah, so a lot has happened in the couple weeks, but more specifically, what happened this past weekend. We are recording this on Tuesday, so it's only a few days out, and we had a moment, fellas, even outside of professional wrestling. This was a just cultural event that it didn't matter if you were the Today Show, if you were ESPN, if MTV even played anything still besides ridiculousness.
Right.
Yeah, then
Shout
they
out
would
to Rob
talk about it
Dyrdek.
too. Everybody is talking about what happened at the Chamber on Saturday night with John Cena and the heel turn. The heel turn that we thought was never going to happen, especially heading into what has been announced to be his final year ever of his career.
Yep.
The Golden Boy for decades, longer than anybody in WWE history.
Yeah.
Ever. You can talk about the Stone Colds, the Hogans,
Puts
the
Hogan to
Rocks.
shame and
Puts Hogan to shame. buries all those guys as far as longevity, Mount Rushmore, WWE superstar, if not number 1, 2, or 3 all time. Well, they decided in his curtain call year to be like, let's throw a little fucking curveball to these people. And this is the new generation of wrestling that we're in. Because if Vince was still in charge, which I know we always like to go back to.
No chance, pal.
No shot this happens.
No chance
There's
in hell.
no shot. The closest we ever, he teased it so many times, the closest we got was the House of Horrors match.
No, what was it called?
The whole world in your hands.
Right.
Yeah.
It was called
Firefly
something else.
Funhouse?
Firefly
Yes.
Funhouse. That's
Firefly
what it was
Funhouse.
called.
Exact name.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he came out in like the NWO.
NWO,
stuff.
this is good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
that.
close because I think, and he's on record with, I think Van Vliet recently saying that it was going to happen. Rock Cena won. He had got new gear, recorded a new song, everything, and at the 11th hour, in Vince McMahon fashion, said, "Nope, we're not doing it." So this is, I still think, part of me still thinks the fever dream.
Yeah,
Still
I
waiting to
know.
wake up.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to wake up.
That shot of Cena stepping on Cody's head, The Rock next to him, Travis Scott.
Oh,
Listen, I love
I got
LaFlame.
words for you, Travis.
I love LaFlame, but what a weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess when you think about Tyson's involvement with Michaels and
Right.
Stone Cold and the legacy that those two have, I guess
So-
it's kind of weird.
You also have to take this with a massive amount of salt. But from what I've read on a couple different sources, he might be actually having a match at some point.
Yeah, they
That
say he
makes
was
sense.
training.
That
I've also
makes
never
sense.
heard anyone say with a massive amount of salt. I've only ever heard a grain of salt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like you got to take a lot for this one,
Yeah.
though. I don't know. Especially after seeing the punch.
Shit.
Does it rhyme with Smeltzer?
Well, no, I saw multiple people do it.
No,
not
yeah, I
just
have
him.
seen multiple people saying that he is actively
He was
training
one of
for
them,
a match.
but I saw more than just
Yeah, I'd
Meltzer
love to see
reported.
that training. I'd love to be
Right?
a fly on the wall for that training.
Oh, yeah,
offense to
My
Travis,
guess is it
but-
started after Saturday.
Yeah,
My guess is it's probably like
certainly
2K.
didn't start before that
That's
shot
also
on
possible.
Saturday.
Well, I want
He
to talk
pre-ordered
about
the
that.
game and he got it before Friday.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to throw a punch.
No.
That's for certain.
I'm also positive that's not what he was supposed to do.
No.
When you watch that segment, Cena grabs
There
his
was a
He
leg.
was supposed
Yeah.
to grab his arms.
He's supposed to grab
That's
his arms.
all he was supposed
Yeah,
to do.
and he doesn't know what he's
And you can
supposed
see
to do.
Cena like do it. You can even see
Yeah.
Rock like do
And
it.
you can see Cody's like, well, I can't stay here
Yeah,
forever.
I know.
So he
What the
starts
fuck you
trying
doing?
to get up.
And apparently, busted eardrum, black
Yep.
eye
Oh, but yeah,
From
that's
that-
according to Meltzer.
from the hammer fist.
Yes.
we
Yeah,
haven't
I've
seen
seen
it
that from other people too.
Yeah,
but
I've
not
seen a
just
few.
Meltzer.
Wrestling Observer was the first one I saw, but I've seen a few other. I think Sports Kita. There's been a few
Yeah.
who've ran with it. We haven't seen Cody to know about the black eye, or
Right.
we wouldn't see the
He's
eardrum.
allegedly going to be there on SmackDown on Friday. So we'll see.
He's got to be. They have to. He's got to
Right.
be there because Cena won't be. So
No, so the match itself. Let's start from
Yeah.
the top here. Let's start from the top. We're going to start from the chamber. A lot. I mean, there's just so much to talk about.
Should
from
we
just,
actually start from The Rock's return?
Yeah.
Where I'm positive
part of me
in
wants
that,
to go back a week.
in that promo, he wanted to fuck Cody Rhodes.
You want to
Yeah.
like have sex?
He
with
wanted
him?
to have sex with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, no, things
think
got
so.
weird. Here's my biggest gripe with The Rock, even since last year, the final boss. Dude, you're an actor. You've been in this business, and I know that time constraints don't. And this was an issue last year. Remember, his
Yeah.
segments are going
Yeah.
super long. They're so fucking long,
Yeah.
and it's like getting brewed. That segment with Cody with the soul. Oh my god,
It's like a half hour.
I was
Yeah.
like, bro, can you fucking wrap it up?
But he
He
doesn't
needs-
say anything.
No.
He says
That's
the
the other
same
thing, you
three
just
phrases
ramble
over.
over.
Did you know? By the way, did you know he grew up in a wrestling family?
Yeah.
His
Oh, yeah, I
father
never
and
heard of
grand.
it.
I don't
No.
know. If I blew my
What?
mind.
Yeah.
His father and grandfather were in the business.
No, it's crazy.
I think that's
His
fake.
grandmother was in. I didn't. Did you guys know
No,
this?
no.
I
This
think
is all
that-
news
I
to
think
me.
that's fake.
I found it out during the press conference
Fake
three
news.
separate times.
I need to see the sources.
Fake
I need
news.
to see the sources on this one.
Not a callback, but three separate times.
And if only he was involved with like some type of tequila, maybe
Wow,
he'd be able
yeah.
to chill out.
Right.
You know, because he doesn't ever talk over.
That's
show
my
that.
other thing. The Rock doesn't know the rules of the road.
He drinks and
Yeah.
drives.
Because he drinks and drives for that Raw,
Yeah.
and then that SmackDown, he illegally parked
Oh, yeah.
before he got out of the
Oh,
truck to
100%.
get in the arena.
Worse, and this is where it really kills me seriously. He doesn't know the rules of the business.
No.
Because this is the part, and similar to that, Mike, but the part that kills me is like you go out, you do that, you cut that promo, which ramble, whatever. But then you go to the press conference, and now you're just executive Rock.
Yeah.
That is where you lose me.
Yeah.
Right? You look at Cena this past weekend, and I know I'm getting ahead of ourselves, but he goes to the press conference, he drops the mic, and he walks off.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to come in and say 2 weeks ago, oh, yeah, after our match last year, Cody and I had some Terramana, we had some drinks, we hung out, our moms were hanging out, yada, yada, yada. Like, I get the role you play in the business, but you can't be that 5 minutes after you're the final boss.
Right.
I know it's 2025. I know for the most part, kayfabe is dead. I get it. but that shit just doesn't look good, sound good, feel good, come across good, and you're the only one doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like you're just losing me, and I think that's my biggest issue with the Final Boss, and it's been my biggest issue this whole return of his is Final Boss character, all for it. Sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta stay in character, my man. But also, like, clean your character up. You can't be laughing, giggling, or when the Saints. Shut the fuck up. You got chlamydia. You can't say
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Like, dude, pick a side.
That one promo, he flipped more than Big Show in his
Yes.
whole
Oh
career.
yeah, no, yeah.
Like, it was insane.
back and forth and back and
Yeah.
forth. And like, I get as The Rock, you can thread the needle a little bit, and he's done it before, but he's completely lost. Like, I think of not even Bad Blood, because he didn't say anything. NXT, the handful of promos back to back to back, where
first
he just
Raw.
doesn't know what the fuck he is.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me, and we know he can do better. We've seen it, so it's just like, dude, commit. If you commit, I love it, because when he does, like the other night, like the few words, the hand signals, that's where the Final Boss is the Final Boss.
Yeah.
And even the promo the week before leading up to like, I want your soul, I was kind of all in until he said those words for the most part. I'm like, all right, now it just got a little weird. Like, yeah, now he wants to fuck.
And then the
I mean,
belt.
even before the soul part, I'm like, he wants to fuck him.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I need you to commit, Rock. I
Yeah.
really just fucking need you to commit, bro.
They need to put him on Raw.
Yeah.
For two reasons. He can't not
You can't.
curse.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So, like,
I know.
put him on Raw where you don't have to bleep that.
Every
but then
2
also,
seconds.
if he goes long, you're on Netflix.
Yes,
like,
you
it's
can go
fine. You
long.
don't have a hard
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
It's not. It's just so unnecessary. Because then again, you bleep it, and again, he knows better. We know we can deal with some bleeps, but when it's a 30-second bleep, we have no idea what the fuck where you're going.
Yeah.
At this point.
Especially when he does it so many times, you miss like half the promo practically.
Yeah, I'm. It's been an issue. Last year, the Final Boss, there was a lot of issues with the timing, but this year, since the Netflix debut, it's been very confusing as to like, okay, wait, what do we got here? So everything you said you were going to come back for Cody, I guess if you want to really like, stretch it out a little bit, you can say, I was coming back for Cody because I want his soul,
Right.
not because I'm going to beat your ass because of what happened at WrestleMania last year. If you wanted to try to twist and bend things to make it work, okay, fine. Cody comes out, and I think they did a pretty good job teasing whether or not he was actually going to do it. Because the Cody heel turn is
Yeah.
as obviously not with the length of time that Cena's has been, but it was pretty close of that conversation of like, are they going to turn him? Is this the right time? Has his a white meat babyface run its course at this point? And apparently not.
No. But I always felt like because they did it, the first Rock promo, was it like 2 weeks, I think, before it wasn't the Friday before the show. It was
2
like
weeks.
the week
Yep,
before
it's 2
that.
weeks.
That's where I felt like that feels like so much time that Cody's gonna say no, and then whoever wins the chamber becomes.
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt going into it. I'll be honest. Like we had our last time we recorded, I was very much on the Cena's gonna win
you
side.
nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed
And then
it.
the Rock's promo, I was like, I don't think it's going to be Cena anymore.
Yeah.
Because I thought
Yes,
it was going to
yes.
be a heel. I thought, honestly, I was thinking Rollins.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought they might even do a flip of last year, where night one, they would do Rollins Rock versus Roman Cody, and then night two would be Cody Rollins.
I was actually for some reason thinking Drew.
Yeah. I saw a lot of
Drew
people
was
felt
creeping
that.
into my head a little
Yeah.
bit just because I felt like, okay, he's well positioned. He can cut his teeth. He showed it. This could be good for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, same. And I think to your point, Mike, I agree. Like I think we've talked about the Cody heel turn for a while now. Honestly, when Rock opened his mouth is when I was like, okay, he's not turning anymore.
Yep.
Like sadly, that was the part. And again, as the promo went on, and when he got to "I Want Your Soul," that's when I'm like, okay, we know what this is going to be.
Yeah.
Like that's where you lost me because you went too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Tuesday and even last Friday with the gifts in the truck. And
yeah.
the other, I think that's
what
when I'm
happens
like,
to that truck though.
I know.
What happened to that wine?
The wine
that
too.
fucking
Yeah.
wine selection?
Yeah.
That was
That was a
primo.
hell of a wine
Also,
selection.
why
right?
was Cody so shocked about his locker room? Like I know the way it's set up ended up being
Yeah.
really nice, but the way they were like,
Yeah, he's
bring
like,
it
"I
to
have
your
a
locker
locker
room.
room?
He's like, a locker
I
room.
have my own locker room.
It's like, bro, you always have a. What do you mean? You always.
No,
have
he's
a
always
locker
on
He's
his
got the
bus.
bus.
True, I
Not his
guess
own
that's a good
locker room,
point.
so this is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if Rock really wanted to show people, would have given him a brand new bus. They
Right.
would have rolled out
Yeah.
a new bus
Right.
and not a
Not
Ford
a- no,
Raptor.
it says doesn't need
not
it.
a clearly
Ford
rented
Raptor.
truck that they put decals on
Decal
5
on.
minutes before they
I
showed
guess
it.
maybe
Yeah, I
does it
know.
go to Cena now? Similar colors.
Right.
It was
Cena
a
can just flip it.
$150,000
I know.
truck, and also,
if you're paying $150 for a Ford Raptor,
Yeah.
Right.
what the fuck is wrong with you?
Dude,
You got a
crazy.
bad deal, bro.
yeah. But the Rock said like you won't need the bus anymore.
Yeah, he
You'd
did.
be flying
He did.
in private
Yeah.
everywhere. You'd be able to be home with your daughter every night. You don't have to worry about that.
And those are the things I love. Like that's where it's like, yes, you want to be the reincarnation of Mr. McMahon. Those are all the things you say. So
Right.
he started saying the right things, and then I think he just went too far too quickly, and that's when it lost me. Because like, all right, now I'm not even going to entertain it because you're going too far to where we know. And poor, like not poor Cody, but the facial expressions, like him toiling, is for me it hovers on the point of like, oh, that's good acting. To be like, is he constipated?
Yeah,
Right.
well,
And
also
it's
The
hard
Rock
'cause he
drags it
doesn't-
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
He's just going and going, and Cody's probably like, you just said that. You already said that. You
Yeah.
already
Right.
said
Oh,
that.
I
Go
gotta do
home,
this
go
again.
home, go home. So, yeah, that's my biggest issue with The Rock is just, dude, I need you to commit, and I need you to be about the business the way the business is, and not whatever works for you in the moment.
Right.
And
Who's
I don't
gonna
think
tell
that's
him,
ever
though?
gonna exactly. I don't
That's
think
the
that's
thing,
ever
right.
gonna change when the boss is basically his little brother.
Yeah.
What the fuck's gonna happen?
Yeah, no shot. Triple H is telling him, "Hey, Rock, tighten it up."
No.
You know what I mean, no
And
shot.
is the board of directors thing legit? Because if it is, Triple H doesn't have the standing
Well, that's what I'm
to
saying.
tell
Like
him.
when I say little, I mean Ari Emanuel, little brother,
Right.
because like. What are you gonna tell? You guys
Right.
grew up together. Rock's Rock, whether anyone likes or not. He's the fucking Rock. So
So when he's on TV, it's creative, and I
Yeah.
think that
Right.
creative, if it's a normal talent, probably tells him like, "Hey, tighten it up a little bit, or whatever." But
and the
it's
little
Rock.
things like
Right.
Yeah.
the slit to this,
Yeah.
like that was a fucking he left that there for an Easter egg for Cena, and I didn't pick that up. I don't know if you guys thought anything about that. I just thought he was
No.
just being funny with his fucking fingers. I don't know.
I'm also thinking some people might be reading more
Maybe,
into that.
maybe.
Because, like, let's not forget The Rock
Potentially.
did this for throwing up
He
his
did.
one. So, like,
and the other night it was 2 fingers, and it was also like
Right.
fucking here.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
You give him
So
a
I
hair.
don't-
You shaving his beard. What the fuck are you doing here, bro?
What is the Sutton smile? I don't know. It's like the. It's
Oh,
like- I
the
think
Colombian
it's-
necktie.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
one of those. It's like
Yeah.
something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah,
match.
The
We'll
match
talk
itself.
match.
The match itself. There was other great matches that night.
card.
Great
yeah.
card. Great show. And just everything you would want it to have. The fact that you predicted Cena was going to win. A lot of people expected that. I was more just not wanting to believe it, as far as like I didn't think it would happen. I didn't want it to happen,
want
but
it.
it happened, and now I'm like, all right, that makes sense. But the match itself, great. It had its
Yeah.
moments. I think
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a really cool moment where with Punk and Cena when they first got in the ring and they said, "I miss you, I missed you too." That was cool. But yeah, Cena played the face the whole time.
Yeah.
Classic Super Cena vibes.
Yeah.
Where it's like you think he's gonna lose, Nope, here he comes again. And
he's
yeah,
even apologizing to Punk when he puts him in the
yeah,
Yeah.
SDF at the end.
Yeah.
Like,
That was fun. I know some people were like, oh my God, I felt the turn coming at that moment.
No,
not at all. Not at all. Because from my thought was like, okay, yeah, I guess quote unquote, that's not a babyface move. I don't necessarily agree. But even just his promo saying like, this is my last chance. I got to capitalize.
Right.
And his face like, oh my God, I got to like, no way at all did that give away the heel turn. I
No.
thought a lot of people like, that's when I knew like, I call bullshit. I don't think
Right.
so.
yeah. And then on top of that, it's like The Rock comes out.
Yeah.
And now here you go. Here's the moment everybody's been waiting for. And now it's like, okay, so how are they going to do this? Cody's not going to do it. You're not going to turn heel. Or is he actually going to turn heel? And now Cena has your baby face. And now you have your corporate champion heel in Cody, which is like a big plot twist too. Another would have been a massive heel turn. And nope, we get the biggest shock of all time, which I think was played out absolutely perfect, minus Travis Scott.
Yes.
I think we, though, think the biggest shock of all time is the different thing. Because to me, the biggest shock of all time is the fact that of all the people, the first person to audibly say, "Go fuck yourself."
Oh,
on
yeah, yeah.
Mike
I
is
know.
Cody
Cody
Rhodes.
Yeah,
Rhodes.
I forgot about that,
That was
part.
the most shocking thing. The
yeah.
whole segment.
Not
to me.
expecting that.
No,
A hard
Not
F.
expecting
Loud
that.
hard
F.
F.
Yes.
Yeah.
and no bleep.
No,
No.
They let
bleep.
that shit go.
Oh yeah, that was great, and I'm glad that they did that.
They did too.
Because it just
Yeah.
added to the moment. It's like a PG-13 movie when they're allowed one fuck,
Yep.
but they
Right.
nail it.
It's at the
And it's
perfect
like
time.
the perfect timing for it because it can really emphasize a moment, and that was just Cody's way of being like, "Hey, I'm not John Cena. I love the kids. I'll be your champion. I'll be your guy that's doing all the house shows and all the the Make-A-Wish and all that stuff. But I'm also gonna tell The Rock to go fuck himself."
Right.
And that was a sick moment.
Popped me.
Cena loved it. It was
Cena's
popping.
reaction
Yeah.
popped me too. It was so good.
And they right there, we're like, oh shit. So,
Yeah.
because I had to watch it later, and I basically, because I had a gig that night, so I missed the second half of it, and I had to rewatch it afterwards. I was able to watch it with a different perspective. You can see Cena like react, and he pops, and I just wish that I would have seen it live because I wanted to know what I would have thought in that moment. Of like, okay, so what are they going to do? How are they going to get heat on this match? Like, how are they going to? Is it just like a icon versus new icon type of thing?
Right.
Like, similar to Rock and Cena back in 2011, 2012, whatever it was.
Right.
That's where my head would have been. But now we know it's just nope. The biggest
Yeah.
heel turn of all time
Right.
since NWO.
Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane. Again, not until obviously the hug and the facial reaction, just him going dead so
one
quickly.
of the best memes of the year already.
Was amazing. And even the funny part was the crowd. Not all of them realized it until the kick in the nuts because of the way the camera was, because of the way Cody shielded him from one whole side of the arena. You could see a few faces in the front row like, huh? No. Even when they saw his face in the little nod in this, they still didn't want to believe it, nor did I.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't until and granted, we all see it where we know the hug, the embrace, like, you kind of typically 9 out of 10 times know what's coming and feel it.
Oh, yeah.
In that moment, I'm like, no. It's still.
Are they going to tease it?
It's still
again?
Yeah, because I'm like, if anything, I would have, I guess, been more or less surprised if Cody went for the hug and kicked him in the nuts, even after saying to go fuck yourself. That would have still made more sense to me at that moment, because as much as we talked about it and you've seen it out there and we talked about a heel turn and how much we would have loved it, I did not see it coming. No. Nor did I. And I guess this is part of where, and this is just me being nitpicky because I'm fucking annoyed as shit with the final boss right now. I also, part of me would have, I guess, never thought Cena, and I don't think he's looking at it this way, nor should he. This is just me being selfish. I don't think he's looking at it like, okay, my heel turn, my big moment is going to be on behalf of or courtesy of The Rock. And in a lot of ways, I think it looks that way, because now if he goes on to win at Mania, that's what? Is that The Rock's belt now? Like, so that's that's the part that still kind of frustrates me, because I'm like, damn, we've waited 20 plus years for this turn, and it wasn't just an organic Cena turn. Didn't matter because it was fucking amazing and so good. And obviously The Rock in the moment added so much to it that I can't complain. Yeah. But me being very nitpicky is like, damn, I wish John had this on his own.
So my only pushback on that is this very much was this era's version of the Hogan heel turn. Yeah. Because Hogan didn't do it. It was in lieu of the NWO. Yeah. And I mean, nobody looks back on that. It's like, well, he did it because of them.
Agreed.
So
and that's why I think
in retrospect, this will be looked back
and I can even admit that I'm probably wrong with the take, just personally, and I think it's just I'm fucking annoyed with The Rock right now. I'm like, God damn it.
I get that.
Because and even like he said it in the pred, like this is going to now look like him. And again, like CM Punk's promo Monday perfectly encapsulates how I feel about The Rock right now.
Yeah, and the reaction was crazy, and then it leads to the beatdown, Cena stepping on Cody's head, and then Travis Scott. So I've read a few different things. So the injury now is being reported is that Travis Scott popped Cody's eardrum and black eye or whatever. The shot extremely stiff, direct
hammer fist,
just a direct hammer fist,
not a
straight
slap,
down.
not a punch, a hammer fist.
So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I've seen a video of it from the ringside side.
Like right there.
Man, he fucking
and Cody, the way Cody reacts,
he's
like,
immediately turns.
Yeah.
Even The Rock audibly said something to him, and he said it in the press. He was like, "I told him backstage, if you get a moment, take it." And even I was like, "Holy shit, he took it." So yeah, I think that's the part that frustrates me. And again, in general, we know Travis is going to be there. Overall, for the most part, I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just think in that moment, it's just like
such a huge moment.
Like in that moment, because the whole time he was awkward. When he's in the corner and they're cutting the promo, he's shaking the sage and doing all. I'm like, dude, just fucking either sit still and be so happy that you're in the ring for a moment like this, an all-time moment, or do something that's productive. And clearly he didn't have a role other than just be there and I guess just kind of lean into it. But like, it frustrates me now. Again, looking at that photo of John standing on him, holding the belt in such a heel way, and then Travis just leaning back on the ropes. It's just, I don't know, it irks me.
So my thing as well is, like you said himself, he didn't have a role in that segment. Other than the fact that he's a megastar right now. Why was he there?
I didn't,
Like,
well,
that's
I mean, he has
understand.
the Raw theme song, and I'm assuming he's their new Bad Bunny, which I think
but like heel, I guess.
Yeah, like the heel version of Bad Bunny, where it's like, okay, you have this mega, like Bad Bunny, one of the biggest artists on planet Earth, any genre. Travis Scott, same, but definitely one of the biggest hip hop artists out there. And you're adding it's the Tyson stuff. You know what I mean? It's like that celebrity factor. And he's probably going to have an involvement in WrestleMania somehow.
Probably.
You know, performing or maybe even wrestling.
Yeah, he's going to have a role. And I think tough-wise, when I think Bad Bunny, I think of them putting him with Priest or the LWO or some others where it's like, okay, he's kind of elevating them to a non-fan, whereas even for a non-fan of wrestling, Travis Scott's not elevating The Rock because he's still The Rock, still Dwayne Johnson. Yeah. So I think that's the tough part where it's like he's a star, but even his star is shadowed by The Rock.
Right. So or even Cena and Cody. Like none of those three need his star power.
But as much as you, and this is just being devil's advocate, but as much as you like have that, he does add an element that will be a part of the conversation on social media.
He's going to bring in casual fans. Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to add to that moment. Although wrestling fans in 20 years that still give a fuck about this moment are also going to be like, why the hell was Travis Scott there?
Right.
You know, and we're going to be like, that's such a random ass moment for him to be there for a moment we're going to talk about the same way we talked about Hogan with the NWO. Yep. Austin and McMahon shaking hands after WrestleMania 17. You know, moments like that. The barbershop window.
Right. Yeah, that's what gets me.
Imagine if Hogan turns heel and, like, I'm trying to think who would have been a megastar in 96.
Oh, God. Like Ricky
like,
Martin.
Ooh, Ricky Martin in the ring. Or imagine Shawn throws Marty through the glass and Kurt Cobain's just standing right behind him. Like,
that would actually be sick.
That would be sick, but, like, it doesn't make sense.
Fun fact, Kurt Cobain's daughter just had a son with a baby with Tony Hawk's son.
Yeah, I saw that.
So fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Kurt
but
Cobain's
so
son is... Well, no.
His
Tony
Cobain's
Hawk's
grandson
daughter
is also Tony Hawk's grandson.
Yeah,
they now share a grandson.
Yeah, Tony Hawk's son and Kurt Cobain's daughter had a child. Yep.
It's just insane thing how old Kurt Cobain would be if he was still alive right now.
A lot of people in this room.
That's also
to be
true,
honest.
Yeah. Well, 33 is when he died. So
right.
Yeah. No, it was 27.
27
club.
Part of the 27
I don't know why I
club.
said the 33 club.
33 is Jesus.
Yeah. And Nipsey Hussle.
That's me right now. I'm in my Jesus year. Yeah, so
that's my thing, and I think history. When I look back, and I know, shout out to Puck, when he was cutting a promo, he was just like, you know, fucking. He literally was like, "Bring Vince back. He would never allow this bullshit. Like, it's got to be about the business." And like in that sense, I agree. 99% of the time, I absolutely don't want Vince back, but in those moments, I'm like, yeah, like that's why I would like to maybe keep things quote unquote sacred. And I know the business is different, and again, for the most part, I love that the business is different. I think maybe those are the very small moments where I'm like, this fucking guy didn't need to be in this picture.
Right.
This guy doesn't need to be here. He didn't bring any, or even like the shot. And also, what the fuck was he drinking? He was taking so many quick little sips.
Yeah.
That were just killing me. It was so fucking hilarious.
I don't know, but he was drinking, smoking.
Yeah,
whatever. It's a new day.
Yeah.
When are they gonna sell replicas of that hardcore title? By the way, because that thing is.
I thought you
sick.
said when are they gonna sell his blunts?
Yeah,
because that hardcore title is sick. I would love to buy a replica of that.
So now,
or at least look at it online and be like, if I had the money,
if I had
I'd buy
$600
that.
laying around.
Well, here's the thing. If the rumors are true that he is training to maybe wrestle at WrestleMania, why not defend it and then make it? I know the belts. There's a lot of belts in this and that.
That's
and they've tried it.
Give me him and Bad Bunny at Mania for that.
But they have a lot of shows now.
For that.
I don't know.
Like they'll be on Evolve.
They do, but they don't even fucking put titles on.
No, they don't.
Speed. Hello.
Yeah.
Who's the Speed champion right now?
I Show Speed is going to soon be the Speed champion.
Yeah.
I know Candice is the women's Speed champion.
Yes.
Is she?
Couldn't tell you who the men's Speed champion is.
The last one I remember is...
JD? No.
JD or Andrade?
Andrade dropped it to Dragon Lee. Maybe it's still him. I don't know.
Wait, who was the dude that was the first Cruiserweight champion?
That went TJ Perkins.
TJP?
Yeah, he went nowhere in WWE.
That was a cool looking belt, too.
None of them. That's why.
205 Live.
Right.
Oh, my God.
There was so much potential.
So many.
There.
Cedric Alexander, early, fucking the Bruiserweight before these, so many.
Enzo.
Bam and Bop. Enzo,
one of the all-time
That was the
cruiserweights.
big storyline is when Cass went away, he cut weight to get down to 205, cut weight, and was like making a push. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but also they hated him.
Yeah,
he was already like much.
And I'll always be I think I can speak for all three. I'll always be a sucker for a cruiserweight.
100%.
Come on now, we grew up in the best era of the era of cruiserweights. Like
also that Cruiserweight Classic was so good.
Yeah, bangers after bangers.
Side note, ADD moment here, but sort of on topic. My dad called Penta Penguin.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yesterday his music hit, and I was like, oh, nice, whatever. I was like in his room kind of watching while I was getting him ready for his nighttime routine. And he's like, oh, fuck, here you go. Oh, here comes the Penguin. And I thought, like, okay, black and white, like, face
he
paint.
said he wears red now.
No, he actually thought his name was Penguin. Yeah.
You know what makes that even better?
And I was like, no, his name's Penta. He goes,
I need the TV show crossover.
That's what I was about to,
with,
I literally just finished like a week ago watching the show.
I need that.
And so now
I need that dude walking Penta out next week.
Oh, I haven't finished it. You just
really
reminded
good.
me.
I haven't.
Watch that.
I haven't. I just started it too. I haven't.
Here's another thing. Okay, while we're on the topic of my dad and TV shows, he had an issue with his Fire Stick recently, and he lost all his apps. So I was like, I had to keep logging into them. So I'm like, all right, fuck this. We're gonna get you a new Fire Stick. He's like, he talked to my brother, and my brother was gonna bring him one. In the meantime, he had to resort to Tubi. Oof. Okay. So he's on Tubi looking for shows.
There's a lot more shit on Tubi than you think.
There is.
I go in his room and he has on a show. It was in Chinese.
Yep.
Okay, it was a Chinese show on Tubi. So I said, okay, cool. My dad likes to watch a lot of those shows. Typically, they're either dubbed over or they have subtitles. I'm not really paying half attention.
Hello, sir.
Is this?
Yeah.
Are you about to tell us he was watching Japanese Spider-Man?
It was not Japanese Spider-Man.
That's too bad.
No.
Japanese penguin.
That's so good.
So we went. So the whole day goes by, right? This is in the morning. Nighttime, I go back in there. He's still watching the same show. Okay, it's a Chinese show.
Hooked them.
And I look over at the TV and I notice that there's no subtitles.
So they're just speaking in Chinese.
So I go, Dad, I'm like, oh, did you forgot to turn on the subtitles for this episode? He's like, no. I'm like, have you had them on at all? He goes, no. He was on episode
Why would I take
26.
away-
He's been watching it for 2 days. Dude. They're like 30 minutes.
He's
He
not
was
fluent in Mandarin.
episode 26, watching the show in Chinese, in Mandarin, with no subtitles, no English dubbing, nothing.
Is there any better review for that television
Right.
show?
Exactly.
I said, "What the fuck? How are you watching the show?" And he's like, "Well, you know, I can follow the story based on like what I'm seeing and stuff." And I'm like, "Dude,
Bless his
God bless you."
Did he ask you to order Chinese that night?
He did not ask me to order Chinese. He did tell me to. He asked me to check if there were subtitles, and sure enough, there was. You
Right.
could put on the subtitles that were dubbed in English. So whatever.
Show probably got way worse after that.
Probably. Did.
Bless his heart.
He watched it for like 3 days, but it took about a day and a half for him to realize that he had.
That's
Yeah,
so
he-
good.
yeah.
Good man.
Anyways,
For real.
man, just unbelievable. Shout out to Penguin. Shout out to the Chinese.
Get that man
TV
a black
show.
box, will you? Go on
Right.
eBay, find the man a black box.
I mean, he has the modern version of a black box. He has access to anything he wants in the world. Not to shut us down here, but so yeah, that was a big moment. Big moment. We'll
For
get
what can we get it? I realize today is 1 year anniversary. We get to maybe like episode 100. I don't know, 50, 75. Can we get him on the show, please?
Yes.
My dad?
Please get him.
Absolutely.
On
We
the show.
have to. At some
It's only
point.
right.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a wrestling fan, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all
We'll,
right.
we'll tape it in his room.
Yes.
And we'll make it easy for him.
But the thing is, it'll be better if we don't prep him. Like,
Oh, 100%.
we
no,
just
no,
go in
no.
and just like full on,
Yes.
because that's when you'll get people. I always think about this. Like, I wonder if people think that I make this shit up. And then, like, if you have enough conversations with him, you know, there's no like,
No.
Oh, no.
He's 100%.
He makes up names.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's not really. His hearing isn't great. His
Right.
vision's not great either. So like, I think he just like sees and hears shit and just like fills it in. Like some people will be like, "Well, who's that guy?" You know, like he's new. You think he was a lucha? He's a lucha. You know, and I'll be like, "Oh, Penta."
Be like, "Oh,
he's like,
Chad
"No,
Gable."
he's like, no, it's fucking.
Chad
That's
Gable.
fucking Penguin." You know what I mean? Like he called Bobby Lashley one time.
Now you
He
gotta
called
fuck
him
with
Bradley.
him. When Chad Gable,
Bradley.
when Chad Gable shows up with his mask in a few weeks, you need to convince him that that's Penguin.
I'll be like, "This is Penguin's."
I don't want him to force it. Just see who he thinks that is. Just find out what his.
Oh no,
thinks
he
that
will.
name-
He
Right.
will, and he says it with such confidence.
Oh, yeah.
And like it's the best.
Your dad is the best.
He just has a take on everything, and you know what? He actually has good wrestling takes too. Like he's like he does the same thing where he borders like he's probably like 75% kayfabe.
Right.
You know, which is
Bravo.
know for people his age, it's usually like 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, he's like 75%. He could still like toe the line of like, yeah, but you know, it doesn't make sense for this storyline or whatever. But no, when you get an actual genuine take from Manny D on some wrestling, you're gonna get some names that don't exist, and you're gonna get some fucking red hot takes.
We need a Portuguese star to appear. We need someone to come through LFG or one of these and become like a Portuguese star.
What's,
The Portuguese Man of
really
War.
just lean
Yeah. I was
into
gonna
it.
say, what the fuck was this? Aldo Montoya.
Aldo Montoya, yeah.
What's he up to?
Wrestling in the Indies, I think.
Maybe.
Locally too, I think.
That's
he?
what we need.
Yeah, I think he wrestled like in the. I think he's from around like Massachusetts.
Wrestle
Well, I
at the
know it's
Portuguese
actual.
Social Club every week.
It's just incredible from
Right,
ECW.
but he wrestles like.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is.
He was Aldo Montoya.
But he wrestles in like Massachusetts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's here. I feel like he's here every week.
I didn't know he still did it.
There's a shot autograph
Yeah.
signing coming up in Seekonk. It's actually the first weekend of April. Our main man Chris, shout out to Chris. Our sent it to me. Angle's gonna be there. Gangrel. Gonna be some dope
In
people there.
Seekonk?
Seekonk, Mass. Cool
We're
little
at
autograph
Fantasyland?
show. I don't know. That'd be dope. That'd be fucking
Or maybe,
dope. I would go just for Fantasyland.
Seekonk Speedway.
Yeah. Oof,
Probably.
God,
That's
the memories.
too big though.
The memories.
Is
The
it?
demolition
Speedway.
derbies there never got old. You
Right.
probably. But yeah, I don't know. It says Seekonk, Mass. I'll send you guys a post.
I mean, they
thought
did
that was
shows
pretty
at McCoy.
cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
remember
granted,
those.
like it was pretty empty with compared to how much McCoy can hold, but you know they still did
Not
shows.
for long.
They were fun.
Big time
Yeah,
wrestling.
that's
Kevin
true.
Nash won the big time wrestling title that night. This was like 2018.
Yeah,
Could barely
they
walk.
did a few of them. I think from like 16
Yeah,
to like
There
the
was one
pandemic.
last year.
Pandemic, yeah.
There was one a year ago.
Was
Ric
it?
Flair
Last
almost
August.
died like right after
I
it.
want to
Yeah.
say last August Mick Foley popped up. Somebody popped up last August.
I've met Mick Foley,
Somebody popped
the one that Kevin Nash, Mick Foley,
Sting's been in one recently. Yeah.
what's his name? Hacksaw Jim Duggan,
Oh.
Emma. Yeah, I got to say what up to all those people. That was through the radio station. That was fun. Yeah, I like those smaller shows. They're fun, you know. They bring
These shows are fun.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
fun.
they are.
They're fun
They
to
are.
go
It's good
to.
stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, especially some of the older guys. They just get to pop the crowd and
Right.
fucking whatever. Hacksaw should not have been in a ring, but shout out to him. Oh,
Right.
It still hits.
Exactly.
still hits
That's
every
the thing.
time.
It does not get old.
He's
So
like the one guy from the 80s you can still...
Yeah.
That's not problematic, so you can pull him out and have a good pop.
never been able to look at a 2x4 the same.
Exactly.
Never will. All right.
Nobody can walk through Home Depot and not shout "ho" at some point. And then you get kicked out of Home Depot.
Yeah, they're like, wait,
You're like,
Shout out
fuck
to
you,
the
Lowe's is
Hus.
better anyway.
you guys don't know wrestling? Damn you.
Shout out to the Hus.
That's right.
They'd be like, what is this?
I
Godfather?
got a question for you, gentlemen. So I was convinced Cody, Cena at Mania, babyface versus babyface. Cody's going to go over. Cena's going to do the job. No way in hell I see that happening now.
No, I think Cena wins.
100%, right?
I
Is there
think-
any way he
I think-
doesn't?
For two reasons,
Is
I
there
think
any
he wins.
way?
One, it establishes the heel character
Yes.
more if
Yeah.
he wins.
Yes.
And two, I think, in my opinion at least, based on this whole year, and not to say he hasn't been a great champion, because he's been a great champion, Cody's a better chaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
get him to chase
It's felt
again.
flat a lot.
Well, that's
this
Yeah.
why
year.
they continue to beat his
Yeah,
ass.
I
Right?
know.
Continues to get these moments
you
where
have
it's
to
like
keep- yeah.
the odds are stacked against him.
It's tough, and I don't think it's him.
No,
As
no.
much. It's just it's just the way they built the character,
Yeah.
the talent they've put around him as competitors for the belt haven't been very believable.
No.
So yeah, I think it makes sense. I think
Let
that
him
makes a lot
chase
of sense.
now.
I'm
while.
excited for it, and it's so crazy how 2 weeks, man, can make a big difference
yeah.
because I don't know if I'd be mad if Cena won now, and I was very
No,
mad 2
that's
weeks
what I'm
ago.
saying.
I was very mad 2
I
weeks
know.
ago.
I remember.
I was very mad with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want. I still don't want it to happen. I still think it should be CM Punk. We're gonna get to tinfoil hat because is what we do here.
Yeah.
Fantasy book. I'm gonna fantasy book something
All right.
later.
There's still a favorite.
Before we get to
floating around.
that, though, I also really want to see Cena at Mania in gear.
Yes.
I don't want to see jorts.
No.
No.
I want tights.
It has
I
to
think
be
the
different.
jorts are gonna
It all
be
needs to be
gone.
different.
Yeah, I don't want black jorts.
No. No,
no.
I want like tights
Yep.
or trunks.
Go back to the prototype.
Exactly.
Gear,
Oh,
type of
yeah.
gear, yeah.
But if he comes out, also
I know his body doesn't look prototype-ish, but
neither does his hair.
Bleach blonde hair.
no, the hair
has
would
been-
have to just
the
buzz
hair
it
has been-
back to like
That could be.
prototype. Sure.
The only reason why I don't think he'll do that is for the movie roles.
Yeah.
Like I think they still like to
But
hide
bro,
his hair a
listen,
bit.
if you're gonna fucking turn heel,
No, I
I'm
know.
gonna need you to commit.
I
Gonna
agree.
need you to
I
commit.
think it
brother.
may
I agree
be
because
time.
I've seen his movies. You don't need to commit as much
Yeah.
to those movie roles.
Gonna need you to
You're
commit,
not
brother.
great at
Certainly
acting.
no more
Cena, no
Skechers.
offense.
Certainly leave the Skechers. Step
Yes,
ups at home.
boots.
Those
They've
things
been
are
leaning
nasty.
into the hair though. Like Drew mentioned the hair.
So then
Punk.
something. Dye it black. Dye it jet
What
black.
he already
black.
does. It looks
Well,
like
What
do
if
it
he
different.
comes out with
something?
the-
He needs something.
jet black in the mustache like Vince.
Okay. Oof. Jeez.
that's two on the nose.
Look like the dude from Sonic. Who's that guy from Sonic?
Dr.
The-
Robotnik.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
He always
But he's
scared me
got
as
to
a
do
kid.
something. It has to be a very distinct, different
Yeah.
look. And we're
And a
going to see
different
him in
theme
what?
song.
We're going to see him in a week and a half on Raw in Scotland or somewhere across the pond.
England, I think.
England or across
What
the
if he
pond
just
for the
comes
next
out
two
to
Raws.
the Rock's music, like the Rock walks him
Nah.
out? Nah, I
No.
no.
He needs. Allegedly, he has heel theme music. Like he got new theme music that they just
Okay.
never used. So it could be that.
I'm also, and
It's
I
gonna
guess
be some shitty Def Rebels theme though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
gonna be
probably
some
gonna be
ass.
bad.
Yeah.
Unless it's Travis Scott.
Oh, unless it's
That would
Travis
be, that would
Scott.
be dope. If he wrote him a new song,
That
would
would
Could
be
be
sick.
Travis Scott.
That would be fucking
and it would make all the
sick.
sense in the
right.
world.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It would be Travis Scott.
That would be super sick. I would love that. All right.
Him
so
on the ad libs.
do we think?
Slit.
So we're in agreement that we probably think Cena wins now.
I think
Yeah.
he wins now. I was convinced he didn't, and I think I was probably in the minority at the time, but I think he absolutely wins now.
So with the lack of Cena and probably The Rock going forward until Mania, not as much until for the next few weeks at least. Do we
Yes.
think that this stable grows? Do we think that the corporation, this new version of the corporation,
Not
grows at all?
before Mania. I
No,
don't
I
think.
don't
You think it's
Maybe
after?
post Mania, but I don't see anybody
Yeah.
else coming.
You don't think somebody's going to
Mania.
pop up to potentially be there ringside at Mania or sneak in or?
I think Rock, Travis Scott are the two.
Yeah.
Because
a
with
statement.
Cody, I know, right?
What a statement!
I know. Jesus
I
Christ.
think The Rock and Travis Scott are going to be the only ones in the stable with the heel John Cena.
It hurts. What? Yeah, where this is the Twilight Zone. We are in a simulation. But
real.
yeah, because I think from Rhodey,
Rhodey.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man,
Cody's-
Road Dogg Jesse James is gonna
Rhodey.
be there. Fuck yeah.
He is the number one producer on
Yeah, on
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
Now. So he's literally
He's
writing
right
the
there.
shit.
The Rhodey is there.
Listen, Rhodey. Fucking damn. Now the song is stuck in my head. This is fucking Jeff Jarrett's theme. But I think who's going to be ringside for Cody?
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
Really? Like you might get one person out there, but I don't think you're going to get many people where you need to like quote unquote even the odds. I don't
Punk?
know. Maybe.
Maybe.
That's a long
Maybe.
shot,
Probably
yeah.
not.
But
Maybe
yeah, I don't
Roman.
know. I don't know who would
Sammy?
be. Who makes sense?
Yeah, what is Sam?
If
I mean,
Sammy's
we'll get
alive,
to that later,
yeah.
but
I
like,
know,
what
I
is
know.
Sammy gonna do at Mania this
Don't
year?
know.
I don't think he's going to.
Don't know. ladder match.
Yeah.
IC title.
Yeah, that feels like such a step down.
I know, but like,
yes,
you can't drag out the KO.
No,
thing.
no,
He's dead.
Especially now, it's got to be KO.
Orton.
It's Orton.
Yeah, it's Orton now. It's Orton. So,
which is awesome, by the way.
And
Kevin
somehow
Owens
he got bigger. So how is Randy Orton bigger now? Like,
I'm
that dude
convinced
is
that
even more jacked.
He's got like a pump. There's a pump inside of him somewhere that just
Probably,
broken. It just keeps going.
He's just full of air.
Yeah.
That's not muscle. They just pump him up.
They're just pumping him up.
That checks out.
He's got a new version of creatine.
He is so big now.
That was awesome.
Yeah. That match was super good.
It was.
So good.
No blood either.
Although
was
there's one. Now I'm going to be nitpicky. I know, shocker. There's one thing that they did that I loved, and then they ruined it. My biggest problem with unsanctioned match is all the time whoever makes it is like the company's not liable. We have no say in it. And then there's a company referee in the ring. But this time they did it where there was, but he had the black shirt. So it's like, it's an unsanctioned ref. And you're like, fuck yeah, I love this. Then there's a ref spot and an actual ref comes out. And you're like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, you ruined everything.
That was sanctioned match.
The lighting and everything else they leaned into was awesome. That first through the table KO, I thought he died.
Yeah.
Because that table broke. I don't think the way it was supposed to. His head went straight to concrete. There's also glass bottles there.
Yeah.
Which they said on commentary. The second table spot was a little cleaner. But, they fucking went to war. No blood, and they killed each other. So, that's impressive.
And I think no blood because of the Cody segment.
Because of Cody. But I think that's more impressive when you don't have any blood and you still fucking seemingly kill one another.
I kind of wish there was blood.
I know. I feel like that match probably needed a little bit.
I think more than the Cody segment did. Personally.
Yeah,
probably.
But Cody loves to bleed.
No, of course.
Yeah. Also, I don't think the blood really hit home the way they expected to.
Right.
I don't think he bled the way they thought he was going to bleed in that moment. It was, and you could that was one where I saw the exact moment he pulled the blade out. In the exact couple moments he had in his hand and was trying to turn over and find the right spot and couldn't find the right spot and then finally did it. It was very, very, very obvious, but it is what it is. It's fine, but. Yeah.
Something we never thought we would see again.
I know.
Where these dudes are like full on blading and
like it's nice to see. I mean, with
he
you still want to moderate.
They can still teach Christopher Daniels a thing or two.
Yeah. Eddie Guerrero.
That was a bad cut.
That was.
Camera cut.
Camera cut. Yeah, not the cut.
Because they literally cut to Christopher Daniels just doing that. God. Oh, that's a bad look.
So the Mania card is filling up. We know we now have Cena, Cody. We have Jay and Gunther. We have appears to be KO and Randy Orton.
Tiffy and Charlotte.
Jade and Naomi, another return, which
that was awesome.
Was fucking awesome.
So let's get to the women's chamber because I get after the Jade run-in. I guess I'm not so shocked about Bianca winning
that match.
Yeah, but I didn't know who was.
I'm actually the exact opposite. Going into it, I thought for sure Bianca was winning, and then the Jade run-in, I was like, "Ooh, is it going to be somebody else now?"
Yeah.
No, I really didn't know who was going to go over.
Is Naomi alive?
Only because Bianca was the only one going into it. We were like, "Well, her versus Rhea makes sense."
That
feels like a Mania match.
And now,
none of the other ones
after Monday, that's gonna. I still think Rhea's is going to be a triple.
Probably a triple.
It's going to be a triple threat.
Yeah.
Which maybe it feels like they're doing too many multi-man matches at this year's Mania.
Yeah, it's why. But what are you going to do? You got to get all the talent in there.
I have noticed that they've definitely elevated the women's side of things, the card and everything, since the complaints that were allegedly happening backstage about women.
They haven't.
I mean, they have. They've main evented this week.
Yeah, they've elevated.
They've given them longer matches.
Stars, though. They've elevated the ones that allegedly were not the ones complaining. Allegedly, it was the Rheas, the Ios, the Biancas. They weren't upset with their positioning on the card because they're already at the top. It was like the mid card to the tag, the Ivies,
the Dakotas,
the Livs. Even they're like, we don't know what we're doing for Mania.
Well, you have Lyra defending her title every week now, pretty much,
right?
And like you're getting.
But I think from what this is just from what I've read on
SmackDown,
reports.
I think they're doing a good job with it too.
The women felt like they don't have much of a direction at the moment, other than like 3 or 4 women.
And I guess that's fair because we talked about that for a while with Rhea and Liv. Like, where's this going? What's going on? What's next? We certainly don't know what now. Obviously, the tag belts are on Liv and Raquel, so I imagine they're going to now defend those at Mania against. Right. I don't even know who the fuck. I don't know who.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly. But they'll defend Alexa those. That's what I saw in the graphic was Alexa and Nikki, and I guess that makes the most sense. But yeah, I mean, I guess I can see that, but also in some ways, the cream is the cream, and they're at the top. Right. So yeah, I guess it can be seen both ways.
That's from what I've read. It wasn't even so much their usage on the weekly shows.
Yeah.
It was just they're like,
And also,
we wrestle, have a match, but we don't have anything
does
past that.
any
We're
of it
not
have
doing
to do with the fact that like some of these NXT women are coming and just jumping the line because they
Right.
deserve to jump the line? Like
Yeah.
a Roxanne Perez. What are you going to do?
I
She's
mean,
a
she was
fucking
probably
star.
the MVP of that Elimination
Exactly.
Chamber.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a
was
great coming out.
Did
party
you
for
also
her.
see the zinger? And I guess we're getting a little ahead of it, but from Monday, Punk's promo about Becky, get your man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tweet from Becky
Oh, I
with the
tried to click
matching
on it.
gear. So
That
it
she
was
deleted.
showing Roxanne and Punk wearing matching gear, and he was like, she was like, "Oh, just catching Raw. It looks like I'm not the one who needs to get my man." Like a shot at AJ.
Oh,
which was so good.
shit.
I'm like, ooh, and then AJ was showing the abs this weekend. I'm like, she's coming back.
Okay,
Sign
imagine.
me up for that mixed tag match
That'd be
at some
lit.
point.
Yeah.
No, not a Mania though.
Not a mini.
Oh,
No,
my
no,
God,
no,
if
no.
that's
I'll take that
Punk's
triple
Mania
threat.
match.
I want it just the one-on-one, but I'll take the triple threat. But Jade coming back.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Popped. She looks
She-
again fucking amazing. I mean, not that she ever didn't, but sculpted.
But even
Right.
in the ring, like
Yeah.
just a
Clean.
brutal,
And
clean
clean.
beatdown.
A clean,
Those
brutal
kicks were
beatdown.
fucking brutal,
Yes.
dude. Like
the gate spot.
That
Yeah.
was insane.
Crazy.
And the camera cut was perfect because
Yeah.
I didn't even see her hand come up. I was like, whoa, that was
Yeah.
full head to steel.
Yep.
So well done.
Yeah.
But it was funny because like then they show the cuts. It's like you can see right on Naomi's face, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the best part is when she turns to Bianca and Bianca's like, oh shit. And then Bianca starts to take her jacket off and it's just like, okay, come on. Like you kind of gave it all away.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we all know where this is going.
Right.
But I'm interested to see how it plays out because then Jade says the other day, like, I'm not going to speak on that. Obviously, if Naomi and Jade are going to go to Naomi and Jade are going to go to Mania, do they basically shelf Jade and Naomi's confrontation/conversation until Mania? Because how do you allude to Bianca being a heel so quickly and her not facing off against Jade?
Right.
Like, how do you keep that just on the line for a month? That's what I'm curious to see how they do it.
So I see this playing out similar to Rikishi hitting Austin with the car.
We did it for
Is-
The Rock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Naomi will be the match, and then later on, it'll be
for
like, I
Bianca.
did it for Bianca.
Yeah.
I can
And
see
then
that.
that's how they
That
get
makes
to
sense.
Bianca Jade, maybe even at SummerSlam.
I think SummerSlam.
I think
Yeah.
this year's
I think
SummerSlam is going to be, now that it's two
Two
nights,
it
it's
has
going to be
It
massive.
has to be.
I think
We're
they
going to
want
get
it to be
Mania
Summer
quality. We're
Mania,
getting Mania
exactly.
quality.
That's
We are.
pretty much what it is now.
We're gonna get Mania.
Wait.
I could see Punk fighting for a title main eventing
Yeah.
at SummerSlam because
So-
he's not gonna get, I don't think, a title shot. He might. I don't think he's gonna get a main event either.
Unless
but-
my tinfoil hat.
yeah. So I think that could be
So
SummerSlam's
what I
gonna be
see
insane.
happening at the moment, this is just how I would do it. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, is I see,
Cena Punk.
well, actually, I see Cena beating Cody at Mania, Cena dropping to Punk at Money in the Bank to call back to 2011 when he
Okay.
did it the first time. Rock's now pissed. Cena turns face again. Cena Rock thrice in a lifetime at SummerSlam.
Thrice.
That I definitely think, and I don't
And then Punk Cody
think
at
it happens
SummerSlam.
that quick.
was
I
gonna say,
think
that's-
for me that's a
he
bit
doesn't
of a
have
quick
much time,
turnaround.
That's my only
Yeah, he
reason why I'm
doesn't-
doing
what
it.
is
this
it- what
quickly.
it-
He's
I think-
retiring in December, so like
I think we absolutely, and I think I said a couple weeks ago, I think we get Cena Rock for sure. I
Yeah.
think that happens now with a whole nother context that we didn't even think of. It's going to make it so much better. But I agree. I think Cena wins. I think he eventually drops it to Punk, likely, and then people kind of get, and maybe Punk's the person who gets in his ear and is like, yo, like, what are you doing, John?
Right.
Like, what the fuck? And then Cena comes back and is like, yo, I was really desperate. I didn't realize what the fuck I was doing at the moment. Rock's like, well, fuck you. You sold me your soul. I have it. Now it's,
Right.
I got to fight you and beat you to get my soul back,
Right.
which sign us all up for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what pay-per-view that is, but I don't think it really matters.
I think it's
we're all
SummerSlam.
in. But for me, SummerSlam just feels quick.
it's just what other between now and December, it's obviously not going to be Mania.
War
What
Games.
else feels big enough
Yeah.
for those two to have the
I
match?
agree,
have-
but I want more of the Cena heel. Like,
I
if you're
agree.
going to turn now in, what is it, the first week of March, and then by the first week of August, you're already back face again? I don't know.
But we can agree that we don't think he's going to end his career.
No. That's
Absolutely
why I
not.
think it's
So,
like literally.
That's why I think they got to do it by
I could have seen
SummerSlam
it.
because
I could have seen it
big,
his last pay-per-view match. Whatever that is, I don't know, but I
think
could
they're gonna
see
turn
that being
face
the moment
before
where
then.
he walks off into the sunset, and now imagine that pop from him going heel to face, either in the midst of a match or right before, and that's his kind of.
Is there
I think
a-
that's a moment.
Because I think part of why Cena's doing a whole year is I think he wants to put over younger talent.
Yes.
And he can't really do that as
and
a
that's why
heel.
I thought he was going to
Yeah.
do the job for
Right.
Cody at Mania.
So I think
also-
that's why he wants to turn
I
face
think he
by
can do
maybe
it as a heel.
SummerSlam. And not as well, though. Especially because there's a lot of younger heels that need the rub more
Yeah.
than younger faces do. Like a Gunther, like
But
a
he- I
Carmelo
mean,
Hayes
Carmelo
especially.
Hayes, yeah.
A
But
Braun
I'm-
Breaker. Like those guys versus Cena, sign me the fuck up for that.
No, you're right.
That'd be
But,
sick.
and I think the only thing where it's like that is like, okay, again, this is a once in a lifetime thing. Him going heel, so like.
Right.
And not to say throw the booking book out the window, because obviously they knew they were going this and fucking fooled 99.9% of us. But it's just like, yo, if Cena heels in the mix, all bets are off for me.
Right.
And I can live with it because it's
Right.
like, again, we never thought we were going to get this. Lean in, give me every ounce of heel you can give me, Cena. And then at the very end, pull it back.
Right.
Because I even think there's some people, and I think the majority thinks, okay, we know he's going to turn back. But I think there's some people who's like, wow, this is the last version of Cena we're going to see. I don't think so. But I think there's some people who think that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that could still pop some people.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Hogan Rock type of thing where you go into the match and it's one thing and by the end it's flipped. I think there's something to say there. I think on paper, absolutely. I think similar to your WrestleMania take, it makes the sense in the world to do it at SummerSlam because of how big they want to make it. But in my head, I'm like, damn, I want more than 3 months of him being a heel.
And that's more just how I would do it. I don't know if that's even what's going to happen. You could be right. They could go longer with Cena heel. It's just if I was going to do it, that's how I would do it because you need SummerSlam to be the big match.
So now let's just say...
But I think him and Punk as a potential title match sells everything.
Yeah, I think Money in the Bank to call back to their
that's gonna happen.
5-star match at 2011 Money in the Bank.
That's going to happen eventually. They're gonna meet in the ring one-on-one for a title more than likely, especially if Cena takes it at Mania.
Do we potentially see Punk because he obviously cut the promo and he talked about both of them? Do we see Punk go through the final boss to get Cena? Like, could that be potentially the
Possible.
SummerSlam match where it's like, okay, I want Cena, I want the belt, and final boss is like, no, I make the rules. You got to beat me. You ain't beating me. You want his soul? I have it. So you got to beat me to get to him. Like, I could see that playing out too, where Punk beats him. Now he's, got to beat final boss, then gets to the Rock. Literally,
He called out the Rock.
You got to beat the final boss to win the game,
Right.
right? So like, does he do that to then get there? Because he called him out. Like, I think we could be
Bald
building
fraud, he
towards
called
that.
him. Yeah, he said, you don't love
he
this
was
business.
big.
Yeah.
I could also see that same thing, but slightly flipped, where Punk beats Cena, so then Rock's like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself, and I'll be the one to beat you.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Now,
But I think I think the two of them have a match.
I
think
agree.
Punk
I
and-
absolutely do.
to lean into Flanny's take and idea, wish that he doesn't want Cena's heel run to end so soon, and we're like, well, what's left after SummerSlam? Do they make a special premium live event for this? Not necessarily a War Games. Maybe they bring something back similar to a Saturday night's main event, where it's like, hey, we're gonna be in whatever, not stadium, not as
We're going to Fenn. I don't know. There's
somewhere
he's coming back home as a
special,
heel, like, crazy.
somewhere special. And it's like a very specific one night PLE that doesn't necessarily have to exist after that night.
Right.
You could call it whatever the fuck.
And
Oh,
if
I
The
absol-
Rock is the final boss, The Rock can say, new PLE.
in your house,
like he
fucking,
can do it, right? Like the people's fucking
Right.
PLE, some dumb
Yeah.
shit, but he can do it.
I absolutely see a PLE potentially
like
named.
sold out. NWO
Yeah.
sold out.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I could absolutely potentially
Good
see a
play on words
PLE
with that one,
in
too.
December called John Cena's last match.
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
the whole, and that's the main event of the
That's
show.
what I'm
like Ric
saying.
Flair.
Like,
It's gonna be him and
just like
Andre.
Ric Flair.
Right, exactly.
Hopefully.
But hopefully a better
The
ending.
actual last.
You're right.
match.
I also don't think it's his last match. I think he'll.
Ric Flair's? No, I agree. I think he's
I
got like
agree.
6 more
Well,
left
he
in
did
him.
cut a promo on
I
Twitter
know,
saying he's
right.
not going to let Cena go over and win the belt.
I will
so he's
never
He's
retire.
going to actually be in Cody's corner
Right.
at Mania. It's going to be him.
They're gonna wheel his
Jesus
ass down
Christ.
there with the fucking pacemaker and whatever else he
Gonna
needs
be
these
fucking,
days.
Jay Lethal in whiteface.
Oh yeah, Jaylee. Did I hear that Punk right there? So yeah, we are. It's just it's so
Such good shit, man. And again, moral of the story: let them cook.
Yeah.
Let them cook, folks. Don't try to. I know we talk about shit. I'm a walking contradiction because we try to predict it and book it every week. No one knows, and just sit back, kick your feet up, and enjoy the ride.
To be fair, we pitch ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then they take them and run with them. So
and then we're also most of the time fine with what they do.
let the guys cook, man. They know what the
We're
fuck
like,
they're doing.
oh, that's why they didn't go with what we did, because that makes way more sense.
Let them cook.
let's get to Raw because we are flying through the show today.
Well, real quick, unless Raw plays into it, what's your tinfoil hat?
Yeah,
It plays into it.
Okay.
It plays
Alright,
into
good,
it.
good,
It plays
good.
into it. We're gonna get to my tinfoil hat. CM Punk opens Raw in a classic fashion. Just pulls up. Camera shows him pulling up right into the fucking arena. Walks right. Camera follows him right out down to the ring, and he cuts an incredible promo. Probably his best since he's been back in WWE.
It was vintage Punk.
Just hardcore, right in the camera. Didn't stutter. Didn't miss a beat.
So good.
Cutting people up with his words. It was awesome. Called out The Rock. Called out Cena. Called out Rollins. And then here comes Rollins. And then let the brawl ensue to set up next Monday night on Raw on Netflix,
In the
Madison
Garden.
Square Garden. You got a cage match.
Yeah.
Old fashioned.
Can we get the old school blue cage?
Oh, that'd be
hope
lit.
Can we please?
That would be incredible.
please.
I mean, just the fact that they set it up in the Garden, it feels like you got to bring back the blue cage.
We need blue cage and short ramp.
Yeah.
No curtain call.
I mean, that'd be cool too.
I don't know how we do
hard
that,
cam
but-
facing the
Yeah,
ramp
hard
too.
cam facing the ramp. Absolutely.
Yes.
WrestleMania 10 style.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so lit. Royal Rumble 2000.
Royal Rumble 2000.
Yeah.
Cena's return.
That was
Royal Rumble
2008.
2008.
Yep.
Other shows that have had SummerSlam 98.
Yep.
Yes.
That style.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
So close. It fits the new aesthetic of being close and tight.
Yeah. I don't know if they actually can anymore because I've heard they've redone the Garden.
The Garden looks different.
And that's why they don't do that anymore. But fuck it, make it work.
Make it work.
Figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
2025, you can figure it
You
out.
got $5 billion from Netflix. Make it work.
Ask
For one night
ChatGPT.
renovation.
Right. Exactly.
What do we think happens? Because the last time they faced off one-on-one, CM Punk won.
Yep.
I think Rollins goes
Do you
over.
think Rollins goes over here?
I think
But
Roman Reigns comes back and
well-
causes Rollins to go over.
Yes.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose. He's
But he
going to
does.
try
He's
to
the
get.
reason
He's
it
going to try to
happens.
spear
Exactly.
Rollins. He's going to spear Punk.
I don't even know if it's going to be that. It's going to be more like his music hits and Punk's the one who actually gets
distraction.
distracted by it other than
Okay.
Rollins.
Yes, I think Rollins wins just because, you know, you give him a win, you'll completely bury him. You also got to prop Rollins up because as much as I love the guy, nobody loves him as much as they love CM Punk.
Right.
So whatever you try to do with him, the CM Punk chants are always going to rise to the top.
Right.
Fair or not. So I think he's going to get a win. But I absolutely think that's when we. I think that's when we. I don't know if that's when we see Roman back. Yeah, that'll be the first time we see Roman because
Yeah,
we
since
won't
the Rumble.
Since the
We
Rumble.
won't see him Friday.
No.
Right? There's no
No.
point. It'll be Monday, 100%.
Because he's
100%.
also announced for their European tour.
Yes.
He's going to be on the SmackDowns in Europe.
But
maybe
also-
even the Raws as well, but I know the SmackDowns.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how non-brand specific they go going forward with Mania, like in regards to people bouncing back and forth between shows.
There's going to be no brand
there's
loyalty
no-
throughout
All
that. It's
bets
not
are
going to
off.
fucking
All
matter.
bets are off.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it makes a ton of sense because if you are going to begin that process of the triple threat match, if that's what they decide to do,
Well, I was gonna say, I think I'm
think it's gonna
sold
be a
on a
different
triple
triple threat
threat
match?
This is where the tinfoil hat
could
comes
be.
in.
That's
where
where
the
that's
tinfoil
where I
hat
thought
comes
you were
in.
going.
Yeah, Punk joins.
Maybe,
could
just
happen.
maybe, he taps into
But does
Paul Heyman.
How does Paul make that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
How does
So that's
Paul make
part I
that
haven't really
happen?
pieced together quite yet. But he hasn't used that. What could it possibly be?
Paul is a part
I
of the
think
bloodline.
it's still going to
Paul
be
is a
to
part
get
of
the main
bloodline.
event, but not the title match. Because if you look at all of Punk's promos, he has never once
No.
said, I'm going to go wrestle for the title at
Yes.
Mania. He's always said the main
Yes.
event at Mania.
I'm with you on that one.
So I think
know
Rollins, Reigns, Punk, main event, night
main
one.
event night one.
Also, the other reason why I personally
agree.
wouldn't put him in the title match, I feel like that undercuts Cena's heel turn.
Yes.
That segment needs to now just be Cena Cody.
Because you can't have a finish in that doesn't involve Punk, and now that takes away any which
Exactly.
way. 100%. I agree, and I think, and again, I think that's why. And I would love to see how that would come together because I think if anyone could pull it off, it's fucking Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And he is a part of the bloodline as much as anybody else, right? So, like, he could go to Rock and yada, 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 make some shit shake. But I 100% think the favor is Heyman, put me in this match. I deserve to be in
I
this
will
match.
also say, though, you could be right because there were stories the past couple weeks that people backstage were pushing to get Punk into that match.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
people like, no, put Punk in this title match and do
Pre-heel
that was
turn?
also
Absolutely.
pre-heel. That
'Cause
was,
you
I think
could
that
have
was
turned
another thing.
Punk.
Those people
Yeah.
didn't know it was going to be.
Yeah, you could have
the
turned
Cena heel
Punk
turn.
in the match,
Right.
but not anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, but you know, in an age where we had bloodline rules, you know, main event last year and the match leading up to it with the stipulations, anything is possible.
It's
anything is
absolutely.
possible.
It could happen.
You know, you could
100%.
easily have.
Elimination Chamber was a lesson.
Right.
Anything
Hey,
is possible.
how about what if CM Punk main events both nights of WrestleMania? Okay, what if you had a stipulation where it's like, okay, whoever wins this triple threat gets to be in that triple threat for the title. I'm again, tinfoil hat. We're
99% of the
yeah.
time, I love it because of
Yeah.
what
That's
that match
the
has
thing.
now
Yeah.
become. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Like I said, to me, it then
Especially with
undercuts that segment. we
and
just
Cena being on the Rock side. Why-
Exactly.
Why would the Rock do
exactly.
that?
Right.
That's
Yeah, that makes no
where
sense.
it gets difficult. Again, if it wasn't for this heel turn, Mike, I would be like, you know what?
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could absolutely.
Yeah, if it
fucking
was
see
still face Cena
But I
versus
think that's
face
the,
Cody,
I think the favor
you
is
would be right.
we have the run in Monday in the Garden, and whatever that happens, and I think it might play out over a couple weeks, whatever, and then eventually Punk goes to Heyman and says, "Listen, I need to be." Well, no, because
He'll go
how's
and
that
say,
gonna-
"You owe me a
he's gonna
favor.
go and say,
I
"You
want
owe
a
me
main
favor.
event match."
I want this main event match. Make it happen. Whatever you got to put, and if you got to throw your boy in, because maybe that's the bone.
Right.
Maybe he goes and says, "Listen, Roman, I know you don't like any of this, but." He's going to make this a main event match. Now both of us are going to be in a main event match.
Right.
So I think, yeah, there's a way to make it work. And I think that's what happens. And don't get me wrong, I would fucking prefer just Punk and Seth. But where we are now, it absolutely is going to be a
Right.
triple
The only thing with that is if you do that, what do you do with
I know,
Roman
yeah,
at that
I know,
point?
I know.
I mean, you could do Roman Rock, but then Punk Seth is not main eventing.
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
not a
for damn
shot.
sure.
No, that's not, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think obviously
No, I
Rock's
agree.
invested
Right.
in what he's got going on, and again, and that's why it can be a main event. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns.
That's
I don't give a fuck what the
absolutely a main event.
stipulation
Yeah.
is. No belt involved, doesn't matter. That's
Could
a
just
main
be a
event.
triple threat
That's
match.
it.
100%
Nothing
that's a main
else
event.
involved. That is a main event,
Which
and that's
it's-
where you can validate it.
Yeah. Which is also slightly unfortunate that
It's-
both
yeah.
Royal Rumble winners are not
I
getting a main
know.
event.
Nope.
Neither one of them's getting a main event match.
Nope.
But also,
Jey was opening up night
Opening
one.
up
yeah,
night
of
100%.
WrestleMania.
Night one.
And he might open up night 2.
Maybe night two.
Maybe
He might open
Might
up
be the
night two.
women, the
It's
triple
going to
threat.
open with him beating Gunther because there's no way he loses.
No,
But yeah,
no
so
shot.
we thinking Bianca. No, we're thinking Charlotte and Tiffany opening the whole thing night one
Yeah.
because it would be
Yeah.
them over the triple threat. It has to be.
Yeah.
Charlotte's back. Has
Yeah.
to be.
And Cena going over as a heel, you're going to want to start the night. But then again, who knows? Because last year, every face won. So it wasn't like they really mixed up anything when it comes to
Yeah.
face heel.
I
Who
have a hard
wins.
time
Yeah.
thinking the last image on Sunday night is not John Cena holding that belt the same way he
Exactly.
did with The Rock to one side and I guess Travis Scott to the other side.
Yeah. And whoever the other, maybe there's another person.
It's sad.
Maybe.
Like Travis Scott is
There's
now
gotta
become,
be,
Travis
right?
Scott has now become he's little mama at that moment.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
little
for
mama at that
2009
moment.
MTV
Alicia
Video
Keys,
Music
Jay-Z
Awards.
is like Travis Scott just little mama at that moment.
That was the same night Kanye and
Yes.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
That was that was on my birthday.
I know that's the
2009.
thing. Nobody
Yeah.
nobody thinks about the little mama shit
Yeah, Lil
because
Mama
of that.
popped
He
up.
little mama at that moment. That's like now I'm gonna look at that. That's all I'm gonna see is him as a little mama.
Yeah, he did. But,
I'd
but
rather
at
have
least he
Nikki
was
Bella in the
invited
ring for that.
He
I
was
know,
invited.
He was invited.
Like,
That's
if,
true.
if
That is
the,
true. That is
If The
true.
Rock and Cody are Jay-Z and Alicia
Yeah.
Keys, then at least Travis Scott was
Solange.
invited.
Right.
Yeah.
Solange.
Yeah. No, I don't know what the fuck.
I don't know.
And they're not an elevator. So it'll be interesting, man. The order of the matches is definitely going to be
Yeah, it
interesting.
is. It is.
I stand by my take, and at this point, it seems impossible for it to not be what's going to happen, but I still like a stipulation, man. I like a stipulation when
that
it
triple
comes
threat?
to a main event.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a hard time giving a fuck. Not giving a fuck. Not giving a fuck. I want that's improper. I just feel like whoever wins,
What if stipulation is the winner gets the wise man?
Okay.
It could also be for a
now we're
future
talking.
title shot.
winner
Just
gets
not
the
like
wise
the
man.
next night. Be like, or whoever wins is the next number one contender. I mean, you could easily just do that if you need a stipulation.
I think
I
and-
personally think the three of them and the story you can
I
tell
don't
is
think
good
you do.
enough that it
100%.
doesn't need
I
a
think because of
stipulation.
who they are, I
I
don't
know,
think
but
it needs
even
it.
the Bloodline storyline always had something. It was always like the Ulafala. There was some titles involved. There was something. There's always got to be something, in my opinion. Like the custody of Dominic Mysterio.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Custody of the wise man. I'm
Who got
telling
it?
you, man. I can
Who
buy into that
Was
because I
catching
think
strays
Seth.
in that Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match.
big time.
Yeah.
When that was the line of the night.
Yeah, hell yeah.
When was it Zayn hit Owens with the trash can?
Yeah.
Pat McAfee's like, you just hit him with
Just
Dominic
didn't waste
Mysterio.
two Dom at him.
I love that.
So good. Also, Cole's F bomb.
Yeah.
Did he drop an
shit,
F-bomb?
shit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
Cole. That was
But
fucking
I
good
feel
too.
like he's said shit before.
Has he?
Like, not a
Oh.
lot. It's rare, but
Maybe.
I feel like it's happened once or
It was
twice
good. I
before.
wasn't expecting it.
I remember Corey
he's
Graves
into
did
that.
one time when
Yeah.
Braun Strowman did something
And Pat McAfee does like it all the time.
Yeah, just all the time,
Oh,
yeah.
He's got full reign to do what the fuck he wants.
Right.
in every network.
Yeah,
Like, he was the one I
wherever he
thought was
is.
going to drop the first F-bomb.
No, I mean
Yeah.
the first
And then
F bomb
for it
I
to be
heard on
Cody
ESPN
Rhodes.
was fucking McAfee.
Right. Yeah.
He don't care. Like
Was
they
it?
literally go to like
The Last
noon and
Dance.
he's
That's
just.
what I was going to say. Wasn't
Yeah,
it
the
technically
Last
Jordan?
Dance.
I guess that's right. But like live television.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that is one stipulation I can get behind. It's easy for obviously Punk and Roman. Seth, you'd have to do some work, but like I think Seth is ready for a heel turn. I think he's due for a heel turn.
I feel like he's kind of already there.
I think he's already there. In like what better way
Like-
than when you have two guys who, especially at Mania, are going to be baby faces times a million in
Right.
Roman and Punk. Fucking the wise man screws the two of them for Seth and then rides off of him in the sunset. I can get behind that.
But also, when you have a guy in the STF and you're audibly shouting, die, how are you not the heel now at that point?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Like,
true.
I feel like he's already heel.
But it
Yeah.
hasn't been cemented. So like
True.
they can still teeter a little bit if they wanted
Yeah.
to. And that
like,
could
it's-
be
it's there,
the
though.
thing, and that's how you make him that fucking raging heel.
Right.
I don't know if anybody wants any parts of that, but
So in a weekend of just complete shock and unexpected twists and turns in WWE, we had another one Monday night with EO winning. Nobody saw that coming. I
Surprised
mean, I
me.
didn't. I give it
Surprised
maybe a
me.
1% chance
Yep.
of that happening. I'm glad it did. I think that's
It was
awesome.
cool, yeah.
I'm a big fan of EO.
EO's
Yeah.
great, and it was a nice, finally, like an unpredictable moment on television, not just
Yeah.
on a PLE, even though it's Netflix, not technically
Yeah.
television. But I thought
the
that was
weeklies.
awesome. So
Yeah, wasn't
Right. Do we
expecting
think that this is it's gonna be a triple threat match?
It's
Is
gonna
that
be a
what
triple
it's
threat.
gonna be?
So there's
Triple
no way
threat.
Rhea's not going to... What do you do with Rhea then
Yeah.
at this point?
Yeah,
Like,
you can't
it's
not
too
have
short.
her Rhea Roman.
Right.
Yeah,
Rhea,
exactly.
give me Rhea Roman at
Fuck yeah.
WrestleMania.
Hey, it's a new day.
Sign me up
It's
for
a
that.
new day.
Right? Give me that.
Man.
They said the new game's got intergender matches in
Yeah.
it, so like let's really
Sign
promote
me
that
up.
shit by
That'd be a
2-1 at
fucking banger.
WrestleMania.
Sign me up for that.
Maybe she joins up with the Rock and
The
Cena.
Rock.
Maybe, yeah. They need a female person for
Listen,
it.
I'll sell my soul to you, Rhea.
Yeah. Oh my God, I already have mentally.
But yeah, no, that's obviously the match, and I'm so glad Io got the belt because ain't no way she was going to win it at Mania. So I'm glad she
Right.
gets to walk into Mania as
Yeah.
a champ. But I don't know who wins. Is it Rhea? Is it Bianca? I don't know. I think Bianca.
Now that it's a triple
Because
threat,
then
I think Bianca.
heel turn Bianca with the
Yeah.
belt,
Also,
like
Bianca,
set it up.
so
because then she has the belt going into maybe SummerSlam
Right.
against Jade.
right,
Keeps it,
but
probably.
also Bianca's undefeated at WrestleMania.
Yes.
and this is a way they
Right.
can keep that
Yes.
streak going without having to have
and
Rhea
then you
take
turn
the
her
pin.
heel with the streak is
Exactly.
fucking
Right.
fire.
yeah.
I can't wait to see her as a heel.
Same.
It's
I
gonna
know.
be
It's
good.
gonna be great.
Man, that turn is gonna have kids crying, similar to Cena.
Yeah.
It's gonna have some
Do you think
people crying.
she gets rid of the hair?
That would be
that. I
I
think you have
love
to.
Because she
that.
already uses it as a weapon.
You
It's not
got
like
you
she's
got to
gonna-
get rid.
yeah.
You got to get rid of like everything.
Yeah.
Like and if
She
you
comes
keep
out with the buzz cut?
That's what I'm saying. Like the
Yeah.
Jade cut. Come
Yeah.
out with Jade's just short
Oh,
hair,
hell yeah.
like wet like that. Like she obviously they all dress risque, but like she's fucking just as strong if she wants to like get oiled up and do some
Yeah,
of the
hell
same
yeah.
things
Shout
that
out to
Jade
women.
does. I mean, she's gonna kill that role.
or she's got to
gonna
go
kill that
full
role.
heel and she just comes out in so many layers.
or that.
Just layers on
great.
layers
When
on
she
layers.
goes full on
Hilarious.
Saudi fit.
Yeah.
That would
exactly.
be hilarious.
That would be
But
brutal.
like two of them on top of each other.
That's
That would
heel.
be hilarious.
That's a heel
Yeah.
move right there.
That would be such a.
That'd be like Mark Marrow in I was gonna say Pam
Sable when
Anderson.
he was
Sable-
making it, yeah,
Sable
with
back
all
in
the
the day when he'd
layers.
always come out last
Somebody
second,
said
cover
that
up.
recently about Tiffany Stratton, where they were like, when she was more of a heel, they were like, if you really want to be a heel, because people love you because you're so risque, like just put so many layers on.
Yeah,
they're gonna
just put
fucking
layers
hate
on.
you.
Yeah, wear a
Everyone's
turtleneck.
gonna hate you.
Just wear a
Like,
turtleneck
just
every
do
time.
it, just like Steve Jobs every day.
Yes.
All right. Shout out to women. I mean this with the utmost respect. And it's not as if it's not put directly in our face anyways. She has a very shimmery chest. Like, she goes above and beyond when it comes to the makeup
We
department
also
around
see
the chest.
9% of her chest,
I
which
know.
is more than
Right.
the average.
I agree.
And I think that's why she had a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction a couple weeks ago.
I agree, but there's also seems like there's an extra amount of
Yeah.
like shimmering and stuff
Yeah.
doing
Like some
there.
glitter's gotten
Yeah.
put
There's a
on.
lot
Glitter.
going on there, and I'm just
100%.
saying it's
Some shine,
shout
some
out to
sheen.
women
But it's like
Yeah.
they want us to look there.
with all the respect in the world,
It's kind of hard not to.
but it's very shiny.
Yeah.
It's a very shiny shiny
And in
objects.
general, like Rhea's attire has also gotten like smaller and smaller.
Yeah,
and smaller
further up-
week after week
up
after
her
week.
behind, if you
Like
will.
yes, like
Yeah.
it's been happening.
Shout out to women. I mean,
Yeah,
Even I think
absolutely.
even Bianca in some ways is like yeah, it
Chelsea
is.
Green has already said she wants to bring
Chelsea-
the divas back.
Yeah.
She's
Right.
like, I wish I was down
And that's the
around
thing.
in the
It's
diva
like,
era.
yo, when you fucking can wrestle and
Yeah.
work your ass off and do all these things, cool. Because,
Hell yeah.
I mean, sure, the average person or anybody is going to notice what you're wearing or not wearing, but like, we want to see the bangers they all fucking put
Yeah,
on,
right.
too.
We're not just watching it for
No.
that anymore.
No,
That's just
like,
an added
that's what
bonus.
it was before. It's like, oh, I'm going to tune in to Raw and I'm going to see 6 women
Bra
doing
and panties
a lingerie
matches,
thing
yeah.
with the king yelling puppies in the ring. And like, all right, that's cool. But
Kat's
that's
just
what
gonna
that is.
take
Like,
her
now we get to
breasts
see
out.
some elements of that and then they go out and have 5-star matches.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck, who's going to say no to that?
Right. It's now an era of incredibly talented women's wrestlers who just also happen to be ridiculously attractive.
And also no different than what men's wrestling's been for the last 100 years.
Exactly.
They all come out wearing
Right.
nothing and put on 5-star bangers. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of men and women out there who watch that and are like, ooh,
right.
you
Yeah.
know. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, never forget Shawn Michaels is in Playgirl.
Yes.
True.
Just-
Big facts.
right.
And his ass was always out in the 90s.
That's- yeah,
They
yeah,
always
it
pulling
was.
always pulling his tights down.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
everything was out for Shawn in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Live on television. Shout out to Sunny Days.
Sunny day.
All right, so that's the card is starting to fill out. We also saw some teasing of Finn and Braun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a multi-man.
It's gonna be a
IC match.
6
yeah,
man.
so it's gonna be some-
Because it'll be
Ludwig.
Penta, Ludwig, Styles,
Yep.
Finn, Braun, and then I don't know who 6 is.
Styles also said this week not wrestling past 50.
Yeah.
He's 48.
He set it up with Van Fleet.
Yep.
Looks
Saw that
great,
clip.
man. He doesn't look a day over
Right.
40.
He looks great.
Whenever he was 2017 when he first appeared, he looks
2016.
16. He looks no different today than he
No.
did in
Bigger.
2016.
Except
Longer
he's a little
hair.
bit
Yes.
bigger now.
And he's
But, like,
bigger, yeah.
he used to cut his
he's
hair.
aged.
As far as he moves in the ring,
Yeah.
just as good.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
as smooth. He's incredible. One of the greatest of all time.
100%. He's in my top 5.
And crazy that we can now genuinely say one of the best WWE superstars of all
Yeah.
time because
Totally
of
right.
9 years. That's
right.
that's a run. That's longer than a lot of the top
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. It's like triples Austin's.
Yeah, literally.
Austin was what 4 years on top.
On top?
Not technically not. Yeah, it's
Like 4.
14. Well, no, 14 to 17. He wins the title at 14.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 17 is the last one.
Yeah,
So
that's
4
what I'm
manias.
saying, yeah.
4
4
manias.
manias.
Yeah.
3 years,
Yep.
4 manias.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's just
Insane.
always so crazy to think about. But
How
also
short
life.
the Attitude
Yeah,
Era
and
actually
still
was.
arguably the greatest. Like many people can argue the greatest run we've seen from a champ. Like people can argue it just because of how he was over and him having McMahon corporate and all the things against him, and it was fucking. It lasted a snap of the fingers.
Well,
Yeah.
I think this is a good, because we're flying through time, but I want to go to that point in just 1 second.
Yep.
Actually, no.
That was my tease, Mike.
No, you know what?
tease.
Let's talk about it now. Before we just do a couple of housekeeping things at the end. I had a thought the other day, speaking of incredible runs and how fondly people think of the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era.
Does that one get?
Not as much as Attitude Era. Not
It
as much.
feels like Attitude
I
Era in
prefer
the
New
80s
Generation.
are the two.
Yeah,
and I'm biased because that's when we started. But
Right.
Yeah,
I can look at the new. I love the New Generation, but I can also look at it and be like, "Nah, wasn't that good?"
yeah, well, the quality of it in ring and
It had
No.
like
the
4
gimmicks.
good people.
Yes,
So let's just say,
Oh, man,
let's
were those 4 good
Yeah,
people fucking good?
for the greatest ever.
Right.
let's just limit it to the Attitude Era then. I had a thought that we might be watching, really for this past year, definitely in this current, what we're witnessing right now, an era that we will look back as fondly as the Attitude Era.
Yep.
Because of all of these guys, right? This is if you think about the top guys that are in their prime right now, and then some of the guys that are not in their prime right now, but that are heavily involved, like The Rock and Cena and CM Punk, right? And how good they are right now, and how great the storyline is. It doesn't feel like one of these old timers just coming back and getting forced into shit. And then you have Roman Reigns, an all timer. You have Seth Rollins. You have KO. You got Sami Zayn, and then you have guys that have, grown to stardom, and Drew McIntyre. Like, you have a
Got
roster.
a whole new crop under them.
Gunther, Jey Uso, how over Jey Uso
Yep.
is, and like you think about those guys that we're going to be talking about 10 years from now in the same light.
Jacob Fatu, yeah, it's
Jacob
all
Fatu.
the aspects.
Dragunov.
Yeah,
Think about this current generation right now, and when the last time we had it this stacked, where the stories were this good, where we're this excited for Mania since last year, like prior to last
yeah.
year.
The only thing comparable for me is the Attitude Era.
Right.
That's the only thing comparable, top to
The
bottom.
2010s, throw it out.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And then the Ruthless Aggression Era, you can have maybe a couple years there.
yeah. And
I think the Ruthless
couple
Aggression Era is
years.
really good. Like, I love the Ruthless Aggression Era. I just don't think it gets looked back on as
Well, because if you
fondly.
think about people in their prime, what happened to them?
Right. It's
Guerrero,
also that's
Benoit.
the era where a lot of people
redacted,
just
name
fell
redacted,
off
name
of being
redacted.
wrestling fans.
Yep.
Like, the Attitude
Yes.
Era, it lost a lot
Yes.
of fans. In
That's
that time
another big
frame.
part of it.
And
the-
I think
the
for me, that's why,
popularity.
yes,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
why it lost me a little
Right.
bit
Same.
because I
Yeah.
wasn't really watching as much then. And it's no fault of the product. It's just where we are. And I think that's
Right.
also why, and again, I think I'm biased, right? But like, I think the Attitude Era is the greatest. But then you talk to people who are like, that was terrible. The 70s, the 60s,
Right.
the 50s,
Yeah.
you
The
know,
80s is
Nick
the best
Bockwinkel
era
is,
of
you
all
know,
time,
you
yeah.
hear all these different things. So obviously it's secular to when you were around, but I think you stack them up and I think the makeup of a championship team.
Yeah.
You need to have those wily veterans
Right.
that are your leaders in the locker room and can do it. You need to have those proven veterans who go out and get the job done. You need to have those young, talented
Right.
stars who show up when the moment is right. That's the roster now.
Yeah.
That is the roster. You have all 3 tiers or all 3 layers you need, men and women.
Right.
That's the other thing too. Is like even in the Attitude Era, the women weren't doing what the women are doing
We
now.
had women
So
for
I think-
different reasons
Yeah,
then.
so I
Yeah.
think that's where you can even argue even more so for this era. You put it man for man, woman for woman, top to bottom across the board. How do you argue with it?
Right.
Yeah.
My only thing, just to play devil's advocate on this, is that while they get a lot of big stars, it's not in the pop culture zeitgeist right now like it was in the Attitude Era.
I think
Like,
it's,
it was
turning that way
everywhere
though.
on
It's
television
close.
back-
I think we're
it's-
getting back.
It's the
more,
closest it's ever
Closest it's
been.
been since the Attitude
Because
Era.
think-
But
like you
even the 80s, though, was
mentioned
in the
earlier.
pop culture zeitgeist,
Yeah,
way more than it is now.
Late
Cyndi
90s was the
Lauper,
peak,
like
for sure.
the early, the
Right.
wrestling and rock connection,
Exactly.
like all
The
those
MTV
things.
stuff. I mean, Hulk Hogan had a cartoon show.
Yeah.
He hosted SNL. Like, when was the last time a wrestler hosted SNL? Probably The Rock. Like, as a
Probably.
wrestler.
Yes.
Not like
Cena?
The Rock or Cena. I don't even think Cena
Cena
did it
has
as a
re-
wrestler.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
I mean, technically,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he brought
yeah.
the 24/7 title
But
there.
I think that's part of it too. Is like we talked about Tyson being that huge moment in 14. Now
Right.
we look at Travis Scott, this huge moment at Elimination Chamber, maybe his huge moment at Mania. You think of Bad Bunny, like I think we could be turning back towards that.
It's possible.
And I think they want to. I think Triple H has been it's been no secret of he wants it to be more of this, and they want to lean into like sports entertainment. We want to be on the level of every other sport and entertainment thing, not just sports entertainment. So I think they're trying to get back there. And I think that's the thing too is like right now it feels like it, right? Paul Levesque, Triple H era, but then you think of like what the Bloodline's been doing the last couple of years. We don't necessarily, I think those first couple of years, we don't give it the same credence because fucking Vince was still there. But like, who knows where that's going, how they turn that around. I think this is a conversation now. I feel really good to say they're neck and neck. In a couple of years, we might say this shit's blowing everything else out the water. We don't know.
Yeah.
Or, God forbid, knock on wood, it takes a turn. And
yeah, but nobody talked about the Attitude Era as the Attitude Era, right? Like saying like the Attitude Era, the Attitude Era, the Attitude Era. And if you say the Attitude Era ends in what, 01, 02?
I usually say look at it as 17.
17 is the end of it. That's when
was
you
that
know.
01?
Yeah, 01.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's when
01
Austin
is when
shook, and then the invasion sucked ass.
Well, that's why. Like when WCW died is basically
That's
when I was
the
like,
end,
that's
yeah,
the end of the
yeah.
era.
So we'll call
Because
it-
I also lumped WCW into the Attitude Era.
I agree.
97
too.
to 01 is essentially the Attitude
Yeah.
Era.
Yep.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Like Montreal Screwjob
Once you
to
get
like
Job
Yes.
started it.
WrestleMania 17.
Yep.
Okay.
Survivor
Yeah.
Series 97.
Yep.
Yeah.
To-
But even
yes.
leading up to it, I think really when they changed over from the red and white ring, when they changed over to like the war zone and all
Well,
that shit.
I think of
Yeah.
McMahon's promo backstage in
That's
front of the
my
fence
thing.
where he says, "We used to this and we used
Oh,
to
yeah,
this,
well, that
and
was
now
it,
we're
yeah.
this."
That's like right before. That's
right
like
before
when DX
Survivor.
is starting
Yeah,
up. I
that's kind of the moment.
But the
around that time.
whole like Heart Foundation run that year was pretty
Oh,
Attitude
yeah.
Era. Like
All
the
you know,
pay-per-views
they had
in
the
Canada
new Tron and
It
everything.
was definitely the lead up to the Attitude Era, and I think the Attitude Era fully became
Montreal
a thing.
Screwjob.
Is the Screwjob?
But like even then, it took years after it ended for us to be looking back on it like, oh, wrestling is not like it was in the Attitude Era. Whereas I think in 10 years from now, we're gonna look back and be like, damn, we had it good. Where CM Punk came back,
Yep.
Cena turned heel, The Rock was heavily involved as his corporate figure, and he wrestled a match, and Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, and you know, we're gonna look back on it and be like, holy fuck, that was amazing, and hopefully still talking about amazing product then too.
I will say, I don't know if we're gonna talk about it, and I hope we do in like 10 years talk about it the same way we talk about the Attitude Era. But I will say, to your point, I think just from a pure quality standpoint, this is the best era of wrestling we've ever had.
For sure, 100%.
The matches are incredible. The
Yeah.
storylines are incredible.
Production,
the production's great.
You're getting different
Because
things.
like that's the one negative for the Attitude Era is like name me a classic Attitude Era match. Like they don't really have one.
The tag teams to
Tag
me.
teams
It was
had
only
some
3 of
good
them,
matches,
I know,
but
yeah.
right.
it was the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and Dudley Boys. But they had some absolute classics.
You didn't love Rock hitting Mankind 37 times
I
in
mean,
the chair?
yeah. They have
They didn't do
memorable.
it for
They have
you?
memorable
Moments.
moments.
All the
They don't
moments.
have
Oh,
any
yes.
of those like classic.
And so many moments outside of the ring.
5-star matches.
Right? You think of the Austin with the beer truck. You think of the cement truck in the Corvette. So many of those moments happen out of the ring.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas I think now some of these moments are happening in the ring.
Right.
Because they're part of the story. And it's, I guess in some ways, and this is no slight to it, but I think it's similar to like, look at the NBA, right? Like, and people joke all the time, like, oh, they were playing against plumbers in the 70s. Like, just genetics, athleticism,
Yeah, of course.
physique,
It's just-
nutrition, dietary things, all of that just
Science.
leads to a better product. Yeah, science overall just leads to a better product.
Analytics now with the 3-point
Yeah,
shot.
like I think that's where we're getting so much better in ring and stuff. We're getting the older guys still being able to perform because they're taking care of their bodies and they're not just dying at
Yeah.
36 years old. Like that helps it, and that's not a cop out, but that's part of it. But also, like you still got to show up and you still got to deliver.
also getting
Yeah.
health
and they showed up
insurance
and they
time
delivered
off.
and
Yeah.
they've done it the right fucking way.
The only reason I'd say that doesn't fully apply to the Attitude Era is the new generation has genuine classics that we still talk about.
Yeah,
Bret
yeah.
Hart, Owen Hart, the
Yeah,
ladder match.
yeah.
No, but that's what I'm
Shawn
saying. Like,
and,
I think that
Jeff
applies to
Jarrett
like
in a-
now. I think that's
under-
what makes now better.
Right, no, I
because like
agree, right.
everything's should be better, right? Doesn't
Right.
mean it is. And then you also just happen to have fucking the people running the business are
Right.
Triple H, are Shawn Michaels,
Right.
are The Rock,
People
are
who
the
know
people who
wrestling.
made us fall in love with wrestling and who get it in the same way that all of the greats, even Vince McMahon, like why did he love Triple H and Shawn Michaels and let him get away with it? Because they thought the same way he
Right.
did, right? And there was a point where the way of thinking stopped. Theirs continued to grow and understand and change, and that's why we have what we have now.
And I also think that they're more tapped into what people want
Yes.
from the internet and
They're
social
listening.
media
They're
more
listening.
than ever.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, wait, for years we did the same thing over and over because Vince thought we were catering to the same people over and over.
We're not.
And he thought that we could reach them in the same way, which you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So Triple H is there's no coincidence that when his in-ring career started to change and he became more corporate and then he started getting involved with NXT, he was bringing over all the indie darlings early on, black and gold NXT.
Women's Revolution.
Women's
Right.
Revolution. You think about that.
Stephanie McMahon.
Well,
you think,
yeah.
yes, obviously we know that Paul Levesque is a loved professional wrestling. we didn't realize how in tune he was with the
100%.
indie scene
I
and
didn't.
social
I
media
sure
and the
didn't
internet
at
and what
first.
people liked. He probably was the one that was like, hey, wait a minute. There's a whole audience that really loves this fucking shit for real.
Right.
We need to tap into it. And Vince was like, nah.
Thank
Give
God
me
he
big,
married
give me
Stephanie,
big,
right?
big, burly men who just show up and, Goldberg and Brock Lesnar and like it's 1985 still.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Vince's problem, for some reason, once the Ruthless Aggression era ended, he thought it was the 80s again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, he just booked it like it was the 80s
Yeah,
again.
big dudes that
Big
just,
dude, yeah.
can't fucking, match,
100%.
blown up in 5
Cena,
minutes. Minus
perfect example.
Lesnar.
Like Cena was ready for the heel turn. Everyone
Yeah.
was ready for the heel turn. Even fucking, and then the last minute he's like, nope, we're not going to do it. We're going to revert back to what we know and what we do.
Yeah, eat your vitamins, say your
Yeah.
prayers.
Man, thank God, and God rest his soul, but thank God Triple H beat Test to the altar with Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, yeah, thank
Right?
God. Yes, thank God. Kayfabe and...
Yeah, because
maybe
as much
non-kayfabe.
as he may or may not like his father-in-law or mother-in-law or whatever that fucking dynamic looks like now, obviously if he wasn't Stephanie's husband, he wouldn't have gotten that opportunity and position he did. He deserved it. We know now in hindsight he deserved it, but in the moment did we know that? No, we didn't know that. So thank God that worked out the way it did.
It's actually really interesting to think, like...
We'd have Shane McMahon running things now.
Right. Which
Yeah.
that could be
Yeah, it
good.
could
Who knows?
be,
We'll
but-
never know. But, like, it's
Hindsight's
also...
2020, but I'll
It's
take it.
interesting to think, like, if Triple H didn't marry Stephanie, do you think maybe he tries to just start his own company?
Maybe.
Like,
Maybe
is
like a
it
Jeff
would be
Jarrett.
called something different, but, like, is NXT, like, its own brand and not just, like, part of WWE?
Well, who
In his head, yes, but does it come to fruition in the
Right.
same way?
his career is
Probably
completely
not.
different if he doesn't. I mean, we could...
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, he
100%.
doesn't have 14 world championships.
Right,
yeah.
100%.
Fair or not, he doesn't.
Right.
Let's be honest. I mean... He was around during the years of the HBKs and the Stone Colds and the Rocks,
he
and,
used it
why
to advantage.
he wasn't the guy.
No, I think
Even
of-
when DX formed, he
Yeah.
still wasn't the guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think of China. In
Yeah.
the sense of obviously he went with Steph and stopped with China and all that, but look where it got him. And I'm sure, I can't be in his head, but at the moment he's probably like, oh shit, this is a lot more lucrative this way. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
but
that
hey, shout
way.
out to
And,
him.
yeah, I'm not knocking him for it.
shit, like the dude's
Not knocking him for it.
business savvy.
Yeah.
He is always he rubs shoulders with the big dogs, with the clique, and he made it work. Got himself into the Attitude Era, and then from there, hey Steph, and then boom, you had the Reign of Terror.
And that's
And
the
he
thing.
was
He's
fucking
done
was
it
on-
right.
yeah.
He could have gotten it and sat on the throne just like Vince and just let it go to whatever. And he's done it the right way. And I think he's universally respected and loved. And he's proven time and time and time again that the business is what comes first. And he's willing to do whatever. And that's what you have to
He's a good
love.
example of what's people can grow and change, and
Yeah.
you don't always have to be super proud of everything you've been a part of and done in your life and career and whatever, and times have changed, but as long as you adapt, which I think he has, and
Oh, yeah.
I've seen people try to lump him into like certain things, like obviously the blackface skit when
Yeah.
the nation stuff comes up, and it's like that was of the time,
I
and
know.
this was when shit was super carny still, and like
right.
people didn't look at it the same way they look at it now. It doesn't mean he is a certain way, or the Katie Vick fucking
yeah.
shit. That again, this is all part of creative things that when you're doing anything for your career and the times are just different, it doesn't make you a bad person. And I think that he's grown, and now he's a very business savvy man who knows what the people want, and he's changed a lot in a lot of those ways in his own values.
Right.
And that's something that I commend him for too, outside of giving us this incredible product that we've been able to have. Is I feel like he's really grown, and look what he's done. You don't think him and the changes he's made in his life didn't help HBK?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't
Yep.
think Shawn Michaels is running NXT and putting together fucking bangers when they tried to bury that show with 2.0? You don't think that HBK wasn't looking at Triple H like, dude, like shit.
Road Dogg.
Right.
Road
Road
Dogg, another great
Dogg,
example.
Road-
He's now the lead producer on SmackDown.
And he's got 9 lives.
Yep.
No pun intended. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's a
Oh
dog.
yeah. He's been fired and rehired and fired and rehired so many times. Yeah.
But he takes care of his guys, but he also is like, hey, you're gonna do it my way, and you got to clean up.
And as far as we know, and I hate to really speculate on this because who knows, right? But look at all the shit Vince has gotten into.
Right.
For the most part, Triple H hasn't been involved,
No.
at least legally, on any documents in
no,
any of that.
no. I mean, it's hard to be
Any of
impossible
that.
to be like, you don't know of these things.
Right?
What are you gonna
Yeah.
do?
Like,
What are you
that's
gonna
what I'm
do?
saying. Like,
so
for
that's
the
the
most part
difference
is done.
between.
I think of the women in Saudi Arabia. Granted, they still got to fucking cover from the neck down, but there was a time where they couldn't wrestle there and they couldn't go there, and now they
Yep.
can, and that's directly from him. So I mean, there's a lot to be said there.
Yeah,
I don't see this happening, but you also just have to hope that there doesn't come a day where he goes full Vince and just doesn't adapt.
Yeah.
And he just
Yeah.
becomes set in his ways.
And it's possible,
Again,
right?
I don't think that's going to happen.
It is a
but
possibility.
We
but
saw
I
it
don't
happen with Vince.
I don't
so
think it's going to happen
technically is a
anytime soon.
possibility. No.
That's the thing. Like with
Right.
Vince, obviously it happened over time, and then it got to the point where everyone knew it, and it was so bad, and that could happen.
Right.
That could.
I also
right?
don't
But
think he's
I
going to
don't
be
think
sitting in
that's-
Gorilla when he's 80 years old.
Exactly.
You know?
That
I
is
don't
also
think it's going to
true.
happen anytime soon, and I think he will know when the time is right to pass the torch, whether that's to a Cody Rhodes
Right.
or whoever might be that next person. I think he will, imagine
CM
it
Punk?
it could be. I was going to say it could be CM Punk and Cody Rhodes in the same spot as Triple H and Shawn in 10 years, and
Yeah,
sign me the fuck up.
Sure,
could
dude.
be Roman.
Right.
He could handle it. Well, I was going to say Paul Heyman's older than him, but fuck that motherfucker's going to be here for 200 years. So
Yeah.
I have the faith if that time comes, he's going to make the right decision. I do.
I agree with that.
I'm just saying there's the possibility.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for
Unfortunately,
sure.
because we've seen it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how good Vince was at booking until he wasn't.
Yeah, until
and
he
then
wasn't.
Very
It
much
happens
wasn't.
quick.
It
It
does
can happen
quick.
over one superstar, over
Right.
one storyline, over one PLE. It can happen so quickly.
Yep.
But the beauty of professional wrestling is that it never stops.
Yeah.
It never will stop.
No,
It's
no.
every week, and
Yep.
you don't like it, wait a month or two.
Yep.
You'll be back. So we've all done it. We've all done it time and time. That camera's going to die any second. We got a quick WrestleMania is going to be in New Orleans next year.
Yep.
That's sick. Always cool. I hope I can make it to that one. Probably not.
Win the same.
And then AEW Revolution this weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it should be a really
Some
good
good
show.
bits of bangers on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's been good.
Revolution's always like their almost always their
There's
best
some
show of the
bangers
year.
on
So
there.
like it's got a good
I think
chance.
Omega's gonna win that international
Yeah.
title from
Yep.
Takeshita.
So
That'll
that way
be a
him
banger.
And, him and Okada can
Okada.
merge the belts
Yep.
at All In.
And then also
MJF and
you
MJF
got
and Hangman,
MJF's
that's
gotta
really
be
good.
awesome. MJF
That's-
is sounding like old MJF
Yes.
again, which is great.
Removing
Him and
the
Hangman
tattoo?
are perfect. They should have been. Yeah, see, I called that.
Yeah.
That tattoo was never there.
It was
Yeah.
never
It
there.
was
You can
never
tell when
there.
they removed it. That was
That
already
motherfucker,
gone.
his skin looked amazing.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was never there.
Anybody, I've never had a tattoo or had
Yeah.
them removed. I know people who
It
have.
doesn't look
You don't
good.
just get it removed
No,
in
your
one
skin's
shot.
It
scarred
also
forever.
doesn't go away that quickly
Yeah, your
when you're
skin
getting
is
it
forever
removed.
Put
scarred.
some nair on there and was like, "Yep,
like-
it's gone."
Yep.
That shit was never there.
No.
Good,
Yeah.
I guess good long term. But him and Hangman make so much sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's gonna be
It
so
works.
good.
It fucking works.
Yeah,
It's
they're
so
great.
good.
Swerve and Ricochet is going to
Swerve
be
and
That's gonna be
Ricochet is going to be a
awesome.
banger.
Yeah.
Blood
Ospreay,
feud. in a Ospreay
Fletcher,
and Fletcher
steel
in the
cage.
cage
Yep,
is going
that's
to be
gonna be
another
sick.
banger. We
It's-
get the Hollywood ending with Mariah May and Tony
Yeah.
Storm.
Yep.
It's unfortunate the main event's going to be Cope versus Moxley.
Yeah,
'cause
I know.
That's,
That's
the
where you
only
lose.
match.
The only
I'm
match
not
I
looking
know.
forward to.
The only one I'm not.
They really
excited
need to
about.
not put that last.
They need to stop.
They need to flip it
that,
with something
man.
else.
They
And
need
also, every time I see
I know.
every time I see
They
him-
also gave up on their name after a week.
yeah,
They ran
well,
with
they,
it.
No,
and it
they
was
do.
like,
They do
you
say
can't.
Adam Copeland, aka Cope.
But
Yeah.
but now they say Radar Superstar Adam Copeland, aka Cope. But before it was just Cope.
It
was
They
just
were
Cope,
pushing
yeah.
for only
But
Cope.
they
But people were like, absolutely not.
But the
Because
fact
it's
that they
not
still
calling
mention
it.
it, they
I don't
still
know.
mention it to me is still them just being like,
Cope.
"Bro, we're not letting
It's a
go."
trope.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm super excited
It's gonna be a
for
good pay-per-view.
for
Yeah.
Revolution this weekend. It's like a perfect weekend for me too because I'll be up in New Hampshire. I'll be able to throw it on, chilling
you
with
go.
the fireplace. It's
Yep.
gonna be lit. I'm super excited for
I
that.
just
So.
wish it
That'll
was
be good.
Saturday instead of Sunday.
I know,
That
I
would've been
know.
better.
Yeah, I
Fucking
know,
like,
but I come
why?
back.
Like,
I come back
why?
on Monday. So
And
I'll
it
be-
starts at 8, I think.
I know,
think it's at
that's-
8, so it'll be over at 1:30.
Right.
Hey, just lose your job like me, and you don't have to
Yeah.
fucking worry about it.
Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
just fucking unemployment. Anybody?
bad idea.
Awesome fucking show today, boys. A
Fun
lot
to
of
be
great
back.
Yeah,
conversation.
it's good to be
Good to be back.
This
And
was a good 1 year anniversary.
1 year
Yes.
anniversary. We're gonna confirm
Shout out
that.
to us.
I think we need to do an official celebration next week.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But
Now that we all know going in.
that we know it's actually happening. But yes, I hope everybody enjoys this road to WrestleMania, man, because we sure will.
And we are in the high-speed lane.
Yeah,
High
we
speed lane flying, baby. We are flying. But make sure you follow us at EIPW Podcast everywhere, Instagram, X, all that good stuff. Like, share, comment, share with your friends. We are on YouTube and YouTube Podcasts, and so I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited
Yeah.
for the next few weeks.
I'm going to be on the Yankees. Watch out for me. Now
Yeah.
that I can
Oh, yeah.
keep my
Let's
beard.
go.
There you go.
This starting DH right here.
Damn
Let's
right.
go, baby.
I'm not ending on the Yankees. Fuck the Yankees. See you next week. Peace.